Give it about 30 more seconds. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Springfield City Council meeting. The time is now 7:02 and the date is September 3rd, 2021. This is the regular meeting of the Springfield City Council. Madam Clerk, could you please be so kind and call the roll for us this evening?
Councillor Edwards.
Present.
Present. Councillor Letterman.
Present.
Present. Councillor Gomez. Absent. Councillor Allen.
Present.
Present. Councillor Curran.
Present.
Present. Councillor Whitfield. Absent. Councillor Ramos.
Present.
Present. Councillor Brown. Absent. Councillor Walsh.
Present.
Present. Councillor Davila.
You guys can't hear me?
Councillor Brown.
Present.
Present. Present. Councillor Davila. Absent. Councillor Fenton.
Present.
Present. Councillor Hurst.
Present.
Present. Councillor Williams.
Present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will the council and any guests please rise for a moment of silence at this time, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance
To the flag
Uh,
of the United States of America,
America.
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
and under God,
under God, indivisible, visible,
with
liberty,
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Before we get started, Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councillor Davila as I see he's joined?
Councillor Davila.
Present.
Present.
Thank you. Are there any reports of committee this evening? Again, I will ask councilors, are there any reports of committees this evening? Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hold on. Okay, I believe I'm all set. On Tuesday, August 17th, the REO committee met, and I just wanted to give everybody an update on what transpired at that meeting. It was the last meeting leading up to the completion of the Brightwood School. And in attendance at that meeting were the committee members of Councillor Allen, myself, Lindsay Hackett, and I believe many. And we also were fortunate to have the contractor from Fontaine, as well as representatives from the Carpenters Union, Charlie Payne and Lisa Clausen, as well as Fiore Grassetti, member of the committee. And I just wanted to report to the committee that the school was completed on time, on schedule, and under cost. We don't know the final numbers of money that was saved, but I just want to thank the administration and all that was involved with the project to bring it in under cost. And one particular note was where the numbers, we can always improve on numbers, but the numbers were close enough that we should be quite pleased in terms of the residents, minority, women, and veterans working on the project, as well as residency. And in particular, one of the notes that was provided to us through Attorney Hope Button was the amount of, and the calculated amount on the low end of it, approximately $3.5 million that went directly into the residents of Springfield who worked on that project. That is not money, as it may have been misreported, going to contractors. This was directly into the pockets of residents of Springfield. So we should be very proud of that. Additionally, at that meeting, we were able to have representatives of the general contractor who will be working on the Homer Street and DeBerry construction. Committee members have had a chance to take a tour of that site, and we're happy to report that Frank Amaro, who is the general contractor for Fontaine, has already has prior approval before construction of at least 78 pre-approved qualified trade bidders on that site. They've hired a lady by the name of Ms. Mwabui, and she will be monitoring the hiring of residents, minorities, veterans, and women for the construction. And both her and the general contractor of Fontaine have given us great confidence that we can expect that they will not only meet the requirements of the REO, but they intend to exceed them moving forward on that construction site and project. I wanted to thank everybody who's involved, and I appreciate you guys allowing me an opportunity to share this good information and hopefully in the next few months, I'll have another report of the progress at the DeBerry Homer Street site. Thank you.
I apologize. Councilor Edwards, thank you for that report. Councilor Hurst, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. On August 19th, the audit subcommittee met. We were joined by Councilors Victor Davila, as well as Councilor Tracy Whitfield. Our meeting consisted of two allegations. One was an allegation of theft of city wood and the misuse of city resources in the forestry department. And the second issue that we dealt with was a report of an investigation of misrepresentation of hours worked and misuse of city resources at the Office of Housing. I'll start with the first one with respect to the alleged theft of city wood. There was an individual who worked in the forestry department who was giving wood that the city normally pays to dispose of to one of his friends. And so he was found to be in violation of the city ordinance, I believe the state law as well, in which that particular individual was supposed to report that the fact that he was actually taking the wood to his direct supervisor, who in turn was supposed to assign a monetary value to see whether he exceeded the amount allowed under state law. So in this particular instance, this individual did not do that, and so certainly was reprimanded. And then the other issue was from a gentleman from the Office of Housing who was conducting home inspections when he should have been working for the city. And he was also using the radon gun to do lead tests that were outside of his scope of work and were part of his business that he did on the side. And so that particular individual has since been fired. With that being said, that's all I have, Mr. President, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. I like the frames, by the way, I must say. Councilor Letterman.
Get away. I'm on a meeting.
Hi. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I wanted to report that while the council was in recess for the summer, the COVID-19 response subcommittee continued to meet bi-weekly throughout the summer. Meetings have included continued discussions with Commissioner Carlton Harris, who's with us this evening, regarding the city's response to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We've also had some excellent testimony over the summer by members of the medical community who have been able to come in and lend their voices. And as members of the council, many of whom have attended the meetings, are aware, we are seeing an increase in COVID cases, both here in Springfield as well as across the Commonwealth and the country, mainly due to a combined effort of the Delta variant and continued unvaccinated individuals in the community. Currently, as folks know today, The mask mandate did go into effect in the city of Springfield, as is beginning in other communities as well, in indoor spaces and crowded outdoor spaces. And the vaccination rate in the city stands currently at 47% for fully vaccinated individuals and 54% with a 1 dose as of September 7th. So, our conversations with the commissioner have especially revolved around the need to continue to do outreach to constituents around resources that are available for vaccination, spreading information about the vaccine that answers folks' questions. And we'll be meeting with the commissioner again tomorrow for our regular meeting at 4:30 to discuss the current state of the city's response. So welcome, councilors, to that meeting tomorrow at 4:30, and thank you to everybody who has continued to attend over the summer. The last thing I'd say, Mr. President, is just simply if there is a particular area that folks would like to see focused on during these meetings, please feel free to reach me directly. We can make sure to secure participation from any particular individuals, whether that is city employees or members of the community. So feel free to be in touch with that if you'd like us to set that up for any particular meetings. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman, for that report. Are there any other reports of committee this evening? Councilor Whitfield is joining us. Let's give her a moment because I know she just had a finance meeting as well. Councilor Whitfield, I can pass it to you if you'd like to make your report of committee.
Sure. I don't know if I have to be recognized because I wasn't here in the beginning of the meeting.
Yes,
Madam Clerk, please recognize Councilor Whitfield.
Councilor Whitfield,
Thank you. Oh, here, present.
present.
So thank you, Mr. President. I first wanted to go over the Finance Committee meetings we had in relationship to the ARPA funding. We've had them bi-weekly on Thursdays, and the last one that we had was this Thursday. And several city council members attend. Councilor Davila, Councilor Letterman, Councilor Hurst are the ones that I can remember, and Councilor Gomez attending some of the ARPA meetings. We talked about the RFP process that will be coming out with Attorney Moore. He was on the week of 8/23 and I believe 8/26. And he talked about the RFP process in different areas of use of the ARPA funds, like economic recovery, small businesses, housing, health and wellness. They're actually developing the RFP process to distribute the ARPA funds to the community. That is not done yet, and they are having town hall meetings with the neighborhood councils, and we will be having some ARPA information sessions on 9/22 and October 6th at 6 o'clock regarding the same community input. One thing that we also talked about at the finance meeting is the Shannon grant, because the new RFP came out, and the finance committee and TJ stated that they are changing the RFP process, and the RFP will go out so more organizations have the opportunity to apply for the Shannon grant, and the deadline will be October 9th to have the program narrative in. So not really sure when the RFP will be due from the community organizations, but that's the deadline that the city of Springfield has to have the program narrative in. And so that is good to hear. Some merit pay from the ARPA funds have also went out to DPW and the police unions, and it's around $4 million that went out in ARPA funds for those unions, and other unions are still in negotiation for the ARPA funds. So today we had a finance committee meeting with several items on the agenda that we will go over today. In attendance were committee members, finance committee members, Allen and Davila, and in attendance was Council President Williams, Councilor Hurst, and Councilor Letterman. We agreed on accepting the finance items as on the agenda. We also had a Community Preservation Act meeting and we went over all of the CPA funds, and we will go over those again today. Those were accepted, and there's just a lot of finance meetings that took place and a lot of information that was discussed. But we will go over the CPA applications and details. They did have great presentations. And we did ask some very solid questions at that meeting. So I will not belabor the point anymore. I'm just hoping that more people will come out to the finance committee meetings and get the information, because a lot is going on when it comes down to finance. So thank you.
I appreciate your thoroughness, Madam Vice President. All right, are there any other reports of committee this evening? Right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to accept the reports?
On accepting the reports of committee, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos? Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the reports have been accepted. Madam Clerk, can you please call the first item on the agenda tonight?
The first item on the agenda is the July revenue versus expenditure report.
All right, Pat, I'll pass it to you. If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Patrick Burns, 90 Clement Street, Springfield. Tonight you have the July revenue expenditure report. This is the first month of fiscal year 2022. Just want to mention that the annual pension appropriation payment was made on July 1st. It totaled $75.3 million, of which 52.2 was a city portion and 23.1 was a school portion.
Thank you, Pat. Are there any questions at this time?
Quick question, Councilor President. Pat, that's great to hear that that payment was made. Last year, we actually broke it in half. Didn't we pay it in two pieces last year?
Yes, last year, due to the COVID pandemic, we were afraid of a cash flow shortage. So we actually made 6 one-month payments and then 2 quarterly payments. But we went back to what our funding schedule dictates this year, which is to make that payment on July 1st.
That's great. So we're all set for this fiscal year.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there any other questions this evening? Right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the report has been accepted. Counselors, we typically take petitions after the expenditure report, but it somehow fell down in our agenda. So objection, I would like to take up number 39 at this time. Counselor Hurst?
No objection. Just on that topic though, Mr. President, I don't see the hearings from our last hearings meeting on the agenda. So I didn't know if we were still hearing them at the next regular meeting, if folks have been notified that they were not going to be heard, and whether it's changed or not. So,
Madam Clerk, I will defer to you.
Yeah, so that was an oversight on my part, and the petitioners were notified via the city council staff but they're going to be heard at the next meeting. So at the next hearings meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. So if there's no objection, Madam Clerk, can you please call item number 39 at this time?
So number 39 is 658 Berkshire Avenue.
Is there anyone present to speak to this? If so, state your name and address. Again, I'll ask, is there anyone present to speak to this petition? All right, seeing no one is on the call, if I can have a counselor perhaps entertain a motion to continue the item until we have representation.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion has been made by Councilor Walsh and seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can you please roll?
On a motion to continue item 39, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the item has been continued. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item?
The next item is a confirmation of the appointment of Judith Proud to the Historical Commission.
Is there anyone present to speak to this? If so, please state your name and address for the record. You might be muted.
Yes, my name is Judith Kroll, and I would like to be appointed to the Historic Commission. I live in an historic district, and I am just a regular person, very concerned about our homes and how our Historic Commission comes across.
Go.
I think I would be a beneficial attribute to the Historic Commission. Thank you.
Thank you for your interest as well. Do you have any questions at this time of our candidate? Councilor Davila.
Just a quick question, Mr. President. Is this an open seat or are we replacing this appointment? Is this a replacement or open seat?
That is a good question, Councilor Davila.
Just out of curiosity, I'm sure
Ms.
that.
Proud, do you know if you are replacing someone on the Historical Commission? I'm assuming.
I do not. We received an invitation to the Maple High Six Corner Community Meeting that the mayor was looking for replacements for the Historic Commission, and I applied. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, yes, feel free.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Alvin Allen, principal planner in this City of Springfield's planning department. My address is 29 Lively Lane, Springfield, Mass. So Ms. Crowell will be replacing Ms. Victoria Rowe, who was previously held a resident seat on the Historical Commission. So Ms. Crowell will be replacing her position or her former position.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I welcome more women participating in government. Welcome, and I support your nomination, but usually, or it has been the practice, I don't know if it's been discontinued, but nominations to boards and commissions come through the Maintenance and Development Committee. Have we changed that? And
Yeah.
then the committee usually makes a report, gives an opportunity to make a presentation on behalf of the candidate, kind of prepare her a little for what our colleagues might be asking her.
Yeah, that's a great point, Councilor Walsh. That certainly has been the practice in the past. Mr. Allen, I'm not sure if you were aware of that practice.
No, I apologize. I'm unsure of that practice.
Well, I'm sure nominations to boards and commissions throughout this year and next year. So it just makes it sometimes, I think, a little easier for the nominee if they go through the committee meeting first. So.
Yes, duly noted. I agree. Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Ramos?
Just very quickly, Mr. President, I want to say that I want to echo my colleague, Councilor Walsh's comments regarding women participation in government. That is absolutely something that is needed and welcome here in the city. I always applaud anyone who's willing to serve in these volunteer positions. Many of you know, I started off as a member of the Springfield License Commission. And it's a volunteer position that requires our own personal time to dedicate to the city that we all care about. And so I certainly applaud the nominee for her willingness to serve. My only question, Mr. President, I would love to get to know a little bit more about her, so if she can share a little bit more details as to her background. That would be helpful in just getting to know her as a person. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Ms. Crowell?
What exactly would you like to know?
Just some basic details. Are you born and raised in the city? That kind of thing. What is your profession? If you don't mind sharing that with us, whatever details you feel comfortable sharing with us will be great.
Okay, I am born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. I moved to Springfield in 2002. We purchased a home in the historic district of Maple High 6 Corners. When we purchased the home, we did not know it was in a historic district, so the realtor didn't disclose that to us, but that was no problem. We have made our necessary renovations and everything, excuse me, through the appropriate channels. I am truly a fan of the city of Springfield. I love the progress the city has made over the years. I currently work for the Springfield Police Department. I have been started off in the law department, and my family planted here again, at least 20 years ago. My son matriculated through various schools in Springfield. He is now a sophomore at AIC. And I love this city, and I think that I will be more than an asset to the Historic Commission.
Anyone
else have any questions?
Yeah, no, I agree with that totally, and thank you for sharing those details. I think the fact that you actually live in a historic home is a huge plus. Yes. to have your personal experience on the commission. So congratulations on your nomination, and I look forward to supporting it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor. Councilor Fenton?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to speak very strongly, in the most strong terms possible, in favor of this candidacy. I know Ms. Kroll. I've had an opportunity to work with her in her roles at the city over the course of the last several years. My biggest regret, Judy, is that we couldn't get you to come to work for the city council when you interviewed with us many years ago.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm happy to see, and that was former city clerk Lee and I worked on that interview process. So it's been a pleasure to watch you expand and grow your career at the city, and to see all the incredible things that you've been doing. So thank you, keep up the great work, and thank you for your interest in serving on the Historic Commission. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mike.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Councilor Edwards?
I'd just like to also echo some of the comments of Councilor Fenton, but also to make you aware that Ms. Kroll is an active and member in good standing of the Maple High 6 Corner Neighborhood Council as well. As you may know, we have the formerly known Ivory of the East Coast, which is Maple Street, and we're the large homes here. We have a very active neighborhood council, and we really appreciate her service to us as a neighborhood as well. So I'm hopeful that my colleagues would be supportive of her appointment to the commission.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. Councilor Letterman?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I too just wanted to thank Mrs. Crowell for her willingness to serve. Those of us who have the honor and privilege of stewarding historic homes know it is not always easy. Having a good plumber, carpenter, painter, everything you could think of on hand is not always easy to find. And so, having somebody who has experience going through the Historic Commission process, I think will be very beneficial for individuals who come before the body. And so very happy to see the appointment being made. And also want to thank you, Mrs. Crow, for your work on the certification and accreditation process. I know it's in a separate role, but very important and appreciated as well. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Whitfield.
Thank you, Ms. Crawl. I don't know you very well, but what I do know about you is that you are very thorough in your research. Every time we ask you questions, you got that answer ready. So I am very excited. I know you will be just as thorough on the Historic Commission. And so I am thrilled to see more women in government, more women of color in government for that matter. And I am very happy that we have someone that's thorough and do your research and investigation so well. So we know that we're getting the best.
I try my best.
Fantastic job. Like, we asked you one question, you got it. We don't have to have those repeat questions because you explain things so detailed. So I'm going to say welcome aboard. It looks like you're going to get nominated tonight.
I hope so. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Counselor Whitfield. Are there any other comments from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, can I please entertain a motion to approve Ms. Kraut this evening?
So
Motion made to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Edwards and seconded by Counselor Fenton. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving Ms. Kraut to the Historical Commission?
On the appointment of Judith Crowell, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kern?
yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, congratulations, Ms. Kraut. You have been appointed to the Historical Commission. All right, Madam Clerk, can you please call our next item?
The next item is Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program Action Grant in the amount of $2 million. Match required.
All right, if there's anyone present, please state your name and address for the record.
Patrick Sullivan, 17 Arvesta Street, Springfield, Mass. We're very proud to have received this MVP grant. It's the project title was Trees, Homes, and People Creating a More Resilient Living Environment. The project main task is to include the construction of Resilient Forestry Operations Center. It will replace the 1890 building that they currently operate out of. And also, in working with Tina Quagliato and Tim Sheehan, Alex and I wrote in a community outreach through neighborhood councils to increase civic engagement and build social and economic resilience and environmental justice across Springfield communities. So we're very proud of this grant. It's a second phase of a MVP grant that we received 2 years ago for expanding our tree nursery. And it's very important work as we see what's happening across the country with climate change. And just last year when we had one of our storms, it took us 6 hours to get into our forestry building due to the lack of power. So this new operation center will be on solar power, have a generator, and it'll prevent those type of delays in the future. So again, we're just proud to have been chosen. And it was one of the largest awards across the Commonwealth. And I also want to thank Melanie Okobe and Lindsay Hacker for their help in this grant as well.
All right, thank you, Pat. Are there any questions at this time from the council? All right, seeing none, Can I please get a motion to approve the grant?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Davila, proper second.
Second.
Second by Counselor Brown. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to approve the grant?
On approving the grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant has been approved. Madam Clerk, the next item.
The next item is a COVID-19 case investigation and contact tracing, no match required grant in the amount of $600,000.
Commissioner, if you could just state your name and address, please.
Helen Carlton Harris, Commissioner, Division of Health and Human Services, 47 Overlook Drive, Springfield, Massachusetts. This grant is to continue our contact tracing as well as hire staff to be able to mitigate COVID-19. This grant will help us complete our case investigation as numbers have gone up across the nation, state, and certainly in the city of Springfield.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, can I please entertain a motion to approve the grant?
Motion to approve.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded by Counselor Davila. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving the grant?
On approving the COVID-19 grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant has been accepted. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is a fiscal year 22 Senior Community Service Employment Grant in the amount of $523,879.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Sandy Federico, 1285 Bradley Road, Springfield. This is our CSEP program, which allows us to train low-income, out-of-work seniors and place them back into the community as trainees. It's a repeat grant. We have it every year. We're hoping we can continue with this vital service for our seniors.
Thank you, Sandy. Are there any questions from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, may I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Davila, second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving the grant?
On approving the CSEP grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant has been approved. Madam Clerk, the next item.
The next item is an EOHHS Youth Homelessness Grant increase. And the amount is different from what is written on the agenda. So do we have to make a motion to increase that?
All right, yeah, at the appropriate time, we can make an amendment. But for the time being, if you could just state your name and address for the record, Jerry, please.
Hi, Jerry McCafferty, Director of Housing for the city. This is a state EOHHS grant that is for homeless youth services, youth who are 18 to 24. The grant is a pass-through through the city. It funds the agencies Gondara and the Center for Human Development to provide outreach, emergency shelter, financial assistance, and case management. The issue with the changed amount is that we received an award in the initial budget, and then there was additional funds made available through the state supplemental budget. After we had put this in, filed this for city council, we were notified that we would receive an increase of $190,500. And we just learned last week, and they've already sent us the grant agreement for that new and increased amount.
And Jerry, can I just please ask for the final number?
So the final number is $636,589.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, can I please ask the counselor to amend the original amount here with the new amount, and then make a motion to approve the grant, please?
I make a motion to amend the amount for this grant. I'm sorry, my computer is still acting up. Can you tell me the name of the grant, Council President?
Sure, it's the EOHHS Youth Homelessness Grant.
I make a motion to amend the amount of the EOHHS Youth Homelessness Grant to be $636,589.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, do we need to take a vote on the amendment? Yes, I'm assuming. So if we can, can I have a proper second on Councilor Whitfield's motion?
I second the motion.
Seconded by Councilor Walsh. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll amending the original amount?
On the amendment, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes. As
Yes,
amended.
Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the amendment has passed. Now, if I can please just have a motion to approve the grant with the proper second.
Motion to approve the grant.
Second.
Second.
Motion. All right, motion is made by Councilor Edwards and seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to approve?
On approving the grant as amended, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is Health and Human Health Services for the Homeless Grant Increase for $69,543, no match required.
Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Helen Carlton Harris, 47 Overlook Drive, Springfield, Massachusetts. This is an increase to our base grant. It provides mental health, case management, as well as physical services to our homeless population in our medical clinic. It amends our $2,100,000 grant that we receive annually. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any questions for the Commissioner at this time? Council-
Did you call me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, no, I'm totally supportive of the grant, but I'm wondering, Helen, do you have any other grants on the agenda? And we could take them all at the time?
Counselor Walsh, I am so appreciative of your asking that question, but these are my two. But thank you so much for thinking of that.
Okay. Thank you for all the good work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there any other questions at this time? All right, seeing none, may I entertain a motion to approve the grant?
I make a motion to approve the health services for the homeless grant increase of $69,543.
Motion made. Proper second?
Second.
And seconded by, so motion made by Counselor Whitfield and seconded by Counselor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving the grant?
On approving the grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, grant is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is the FY22 Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners grant, no match required, in the amount of $50,000.
Great. This is the $50,000 and above the threshold. And I believe we have one more following that we'll probably have to call out of order. But in the meantime, is there anyone present to speak to the FY22 Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners grant?
Yes, good evening, counselors. This is Molly Fogarty, Library Director. This funding is from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners. It's supported by ARPA funding from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And the funding will be used to purchase a library outreach van that we can go out into the community. We'll have books available. We'll have wireless access programming that we can provide. So we plan to go out to the parks and schools and housing authority locations, community events, which we already do, but this will make it a lot more easier. The van will be branded and we'll be driving around the city. So we're very excited to get all of that exposure out there.
Great, thank you, Molly. Are there any questions at this time from the council? Right, seeing none, may I please entertain a motion to approve the grant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Allen and seconded by Counselor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving the grant?
On approving the grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez? Absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant is approved. Madam Clerk, I see here that item number 12, the police CIT grant, of course, is above our $50,000 threshold. So if there's no objection, I would like to take that now so that we can take the following items together as one. Madam Clerk, can you please call item number 12?
Item number 12, the Police CIT Hope Grant for $100,000, no match required.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Sergeant Brian Elliott, Springfield Police Department. Thank you for your time this evening. This is a continuation grant under the CIT. It's from the Department of Mental Health. This money will fund training and continuation fund programming for street work relative to outreach, intervention, relative to mental health crisis and emergency response.
Thank you, Sergeant. Are there any questions at this time? Counselor Brown?
I just want to thank the sergeant for his work, and I stress that, like a lot of my colleagues, we do understand. I'm getting feedback. We do have work when it comes to the de-escalation portion. So these are definitely things that I'm always happy to see and support. I want to thank you for your service, Sergeant. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Are there any other comments from the council body at this time? All right, seeing, I will entertain a motion to approve the grant at this time.
So moved.
Yep, second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Davila. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on approving the grant?
On approving the grant, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant is approved. Now, Madam Clerk, can you please call items 10, 11, 13 through 15 and call to the roll to accept if there is no objection and taking them this way.
And I'm going to add number 9 to that. So 9 being the,
Yes, I'm sorry, number 9 as well. I'm sorry.
Okay. So 9, 10,
9, 10, 11,
11,
and 13, 14.
13, 14, and 15.
You could just call those out for us, Madam Clerk.
The American Rescue Plan Act funding, no match, is number 9. Number 10, the FY22 Public Safety Answering Point Leadership Scholarship, no match, amount of $10,000. The Springfield Library donation, it's number 11, in the amount of $150. Number 13 is the Springfield City Library donation in the amount of $100 by Ashley Kusilius. Number 14 is a library cash donation in the amount of $52. And number 15 is donation of goods from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Feel free to take the roll at this. Oh, Counselor Letterman.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. Number 9 is $29 million.
Yeah.
Can we take 9 with the rest of these, or are we taking?
No.
No.
Oh,
what are we voting on now?
Yes, I'm
Should
sorry.
be 10 through.
Oh, we're voting 10 through, and then we're taking 9.
No.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Sorry, we're moving the numbers around a little bit. My apologies.
No worries. Thank you.
So the motion is on 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15.
So moved? I don't know.
Counselor Whitfield? Is that you?
Yeah.
Second.
You just called it roll?
Second.
Yes, okay, so the motion has been made by Counselor Whitfield and seconded by Counselor Allen. Madam Clerk, feel free to call the roll at this time.
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez? Absent, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the items are approved. Now, Madam Clerk, can you please call item number 9?
Item number 9 being the American Rescue Plan Act funding, no match in the amount of $29,836,165.
State your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Mr. President. TJ Plant, 42 Garfield Street, CAFO for the city of Springfield. I was hoping to slip that one through, but apparently they did not. So, just
Nice try.
so this is the county allocation for $29.8 million that was set aside, that was dedicated to county government. As you may have heard us chatting about prior to this, that the county governments that are no longer fully functioning counties, that the money was going to go to cities and towns on a per capita basis. And this is the second, this is the allocation to bring the total up to 123.7 million for total ARPA funding for the city of Springfield.
Right, thank you, TJ. Are there any questions from the council at this time? Councilor Ramos?
Just very quickly, Mr. President, TJ, I am going to be supporting this request this evening, but I just want to make a couple of points. A few months ago, when we were asked to approve the first portion of the ARPA funds, we were told that the city council was going to be very involved in the process of deciding as to how this money would be allocated. And I know and I appreciate that the fact that the administration has scheduled several meetings throughout the neighborhoods. I think it's a great idea and it's a great process. However, I do also know that the city has already expended some of that money without any heads up to the city council or any city council input. There was I learned about the purchase of a property in the South End across from the casino through the media, and I learned about the merit pay through the media, and neither of those expenditures were brought forth to the city council. We were not consulted or informed prior to the expenditure, and so far, to be honest, it hasn't been a good start. I'm hoping that moving forward that will be corrected. But I just wanted to make those points because right now it doesn't seem to be a very inclusive process.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Walsh, followed by Councilor Whitfield.
Well, I think I'm going to say ditto because that was my concern also, the role of the city council with these funds. I have had meetings out in the community with constituents who are concerned about roads and traffic and accidents and want to make sure that they are included in this funding. And I feel that the city council, as Councilor Ramos, State Rep Ramos has said, the city council should have a greater role, or we at least should have our initiatives or our concerns considered for this funding and the allocation. And I guess my question is the same as Councilor Ramos. Is that going to happen? And if the city council has a wish list, who does it go to and who will review it and what will be done?
So to answer the question, Councilor Walsh and Councilor Ramos, the $3 million set aside for the properties on Main Street, there was an urgency behind that because they were in, I guess, foreclosure proceedings. And if we didn't step in and acquire the purchase and sale of the properties, we weren't sure that we'd be able to control them. So there's a little urgency to that. The merit bonuses is right there in the law for premium pay for employees that went above and beyond during the pandemic to keep the city functioning and safe. Those are the only two expenditures besides the creation of Tom Moore's department, who's running now the Office of Business Continuity and Recovery. Tom Moore, I understand, has been reaching out to sit down with counselors to get kind of thoughts and wish list stuff. All of that should be routed through Tom Moore and ultimately to my office here to make sure that we're putting in a tracking list. The way we're approaching it with the neighborhood councils and the businesses and the nonprofits are, we got pretty much three pots of funding that might be coming our way. We know we have the ARPA funding at 123.7. We know there's movement or hopefully movement for an infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure improvements. And then for the other wish list stuff, we have our capital improvement plan that we would authorize debt to do projects otherwise not covered by either of those fundings.
Well, I appreciate all that information, and I'd like to explore ways to see if the city council could have a more formal road, because some of the requests that we get from constituents might not fit into all the categories. And whenever I hear capital plans, I think you know what I'm going to say. Somewhere, someday, I hope there is going to be some allocation for the Campanile.
Counselor, I would agree with you. That's $26 million from what I understand to be the case. I would like to entertain a conversation with the council, the mayor and the administration and the Community Preservation Committee and the Community Preservation Act. We are allowed to issue debt with a dedicated funding source for a project. With this magnitude, I was hoping we could get city match plus state and federal funding to finally address the Campanile. It's been on the list for a long time and it's not getting any better. It's just getting worse. So I'd like to be able to convene some meetings on that.
Well, I'm just afraid that someday there's going to be an injury out there. There's so much delayed maintenance on the Campanile. Plus, it is, the symbol of the city. I would really like to see it addressed, and I think I will have a further conversation with my colleague, Councilor Whitfield, to see if through the Finance Committee there's more of a role for our colleagues in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Walsh, for saying that. So we've been having weekly ARPA fund meetings, and we have been discussing what the money is being used for. We've been discussing the RFP process, and Tom Moore, Attorney Moore, did state that through the RFP process, he would like to get some involvement of each city councilor on the different RFP committees. We also did speak about the merit pay that went out to the non-bargaining employees prior to that going to the media. We also talked about other merit pay that will be going out. So each week that they meet with us, they do give us an update on where the money is going, what is going to be spent on, what the RFP process is looking like, where they're at in the RFP process. Unfortunately, only a couple of counselors attend the meetings. However, they are recorded if folks want to go back and look at what is discussed, but they have been very transparent where the money has been spent after the buildings were purchased and we started the ARPA meetings each week. The only time we cancel the ARPA meetings if there's been no update to anything in the process, the RFP process, or if there hasn't been any update in any spending, so there's no need to have a meeting. But each week that we do have meetings, they give us updates on what is being discussed and where the money is going. So I do hope that counselors can attend. If not, we'll take the opportunity to look at the recordings, because we have been meeting weekly, if not, bi-weekly, if not weekly, to get the updates, and they have been very transparent since the purchases of the building. So I did want to give credit where credit is due. Tom comes to the meetings and he is very thorough on his process and where he's going with the RFP, and he certainly always says that he wants city council involvement. So hopefully we can get more involvement there, and then everybody can be on the same page.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Are there any other? Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, TJ. TJ, just so that I get my head straight here, today we're asked to accept $29 million in ARP funding, and that's coming from the redistribution of the Hampden County government, correct?
Correct.
Now, before that, we approved, was it 112 that we approved? ARP money, how much are we getting?
The original allocation was 93.8 million.
93?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So we are sitting on roughly $122 million, give or take. That money has to be used by 2024?
It had to be committed by 2024, spent by 2026.
Committed by 24, spent by 26. Okay. All right. Let me. I just want to say, I kind of echo a little bit of Councilor Whitfield what you're saying. The meetings that we'll be having have been pretty good meetings, I have to say. And today I happen to have an excellent, absolutely excellent meeting with Attorney Moore as it relates to the local labor groups here in Springfield. And it was a very good, extremely good meeting. Everybody was very happy on the information provided. I'm also happy that the administration is hearing input from the groups as well. This money has to be used wisely. We all know that. But to be honest with you, and just to make it a point of what Councilor Whitfield was saying, the use of the $3 million to buy those buildings. That's done. I don't have any recollection when we approved that money back then, that was a plan. I know you said there's an urgency. I got some other questions on that, but I need to ask you just to be on the record. Is there any plan to buy any more buildings with ARP money?
I cannot answer that honestly at the moment. There could potentially be if the right RFP response comes in with a plan. But at this point, the only urgency we have were these 3 buildings and trying to make sure that we locked them up so we were in control of their destiny.
Right. And I still don't know exactly the logic behind the purchase of those buildings. I think there could be, as we always say, always a struggle in communication between us and administration. So I think that's, at least from my perspective, that again, I don't have all the full information. Now, because I hear rumblings that there might be other buildings that are going to be bought with that money. And I bring that up because, TJ, some of my constituents have been saying, what about the sidewalks? That's part of infrastructure. It is my hope that we can allocate some of this money towards sidewalk. Is that possible? Sidewalk repair?
I actually don't have an answer for the sidewalks, but common themes coming through the meetings that we've had, and I expect to be common through all of them, was definitely sidewalks, neighborhood beautification, definitely job creation and job retention and matching jobs and workforce development. There's definitely more trying to bring vibrancy to the neighborhoods and kind of walkability. So Tom and I are actively researching ways that we can kind of put this, justify it, but make sure that we get to keep it 5 years down the road, that if we make an argument that, housing, beyond housing and helping out with housing with rental assistance, mortgage assistance, part of it is we want our neighbors to stay in the house, and what they want is a walkable neighborhood.
Right.
And, I'll tell you, I had purchased Walkable City by Jeff Speck. Gave it to all my employees that work in the ARPA to kind of get it up to kind of maybe help us make a case of why ARPA funding would be viable for that. And it really is eye-opening to what it does for economic development, job creation, public health, and also just the environment. So,
Right. Well, I think if TJ, to the extent that possible, if we can use that for the infrastructure sidewalk, it will be a hit for everybody. Other than that, thank you. I do plan on supporting this. And again, I look forward to continue in the meetings and to contribute to how this money can be best used in the city for the benefit of us all. Thank you, Mr. President. Those are my words.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions or comments at this time? Right, seeing Councilor Whitfield.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I just wanted to reiterate the importance of attending the meetings to find out, if possible, what's going on, and if not, to try to look at the recordings. But I also wanted to read what Tim Sheehan wrote to me in an email about the use of the buildings. He said, "Good morning, Councilor Whitfield. The intent via the SRA is to put the foreclosed portfolio of properties out to prospective developers through a competitive RFP or RFI process, which would advantage redevelopment proposals that commit to highly activated ground floor use and adaptive reuse of the upper floors, which could include offices, housing, or other commercial use specifically or in combination." Please let me know if you have any additional questions. So I just wanted to let you guys know that when we ask questions, they are responding, and from it was necessary to purchase those buildings. I don't know why it was an emergency, but there was some type of emergency during the foreclosure process, and hopefully the properties will go out to redevelopment. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm not, trying to take sides. I'm just trying to be transparent with what has been told to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my colleagues, particularly Councilors Whitfield and Davila, for addressing these issues and advocating for a thorough process moving forward. I feel compelled just to point out that the Casino Oversight Committee has met on the subject of these buildings, not regularly, but during our meetings, it has been discussed over the course of the last couple of years. And I personally have advocated for the acquisition of these structures due to the strategic importance of the properties to the downtown and the area in and around the casino blueprint zone. So certainly there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think that we're on the right track to do that with Tom and TJ's assistance, but it didn't feel right for me to just sit here silently and not address the fact that those buildings in particular have come up in the past during our committee meetings. And I've, for over a year now, advocated for the city intervening in those structures. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. On the grant, are there any other questions or comments? Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. I did have it's kind of hard to hear where I'm at, but I did have a subcommittee meeting in economic development where a lot of the properties, they went over a lot of that stuff. I don't know the particulars because I don't have them in front of me, but there was no one attended it. We did have a meeting in my economic development committee. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Brown. TJ, do you have?
Yeah, just a quick comment, just so everyone's on the same page. So right now, hopefully the first week in October, we're gonna have the first round of RFPs hitting the street. We're calling them RFPs, but really kind of an open enrollment is what RFPs suggest, a zero-sum game where there's winners and losers. What our plan is to, on a rolling basis, take in applications and responses and make decisions as expeditiously as possible that make sense, that fit into the guidelines set by the Treasury. What we're doing differently this time around is that if there are issues with the RFP, that we can send them back with revisions to make them stronger. So then they can come back and get a yes from us, as opposed to no, you're not getting a contract, better luck next time. And that's going to be through Chase Swan's group. We're going to be the technical assistant. So I'll walk you so if a nonprofit submits an RFP that is 80% there, but we need a bit more information, instead of ruling it out and throwing it out like you do with a traditional RFP process, we're going to send it back for revisions and include the information that's needed to make it a strong application. So this is intended to be a big moment for us to make a big change for all the things we're doing, and all that's going to be done. I think Tom's committed to having the city councilors sitting on RFP review committees if they desire. It's going to be done through the meetings that Councilor Whitfield has described. But this is, the design of it is to not be adversarial and to actually help those that have been hurt by COVID, whether it's lost revenue or whether it's needing to create jobs or economic development opportunities or housing, or people need mortgage assistance or rental assistance. Our job is to figure out a way to say yes, and that's what we're committed to.
Thank you, TJ, for that context. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, may I please entertain a motion to approve the grant?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, motion has been made by Councilor Whitfield and seconded by Councilor Davila. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen? Counselor Allen?
Sorry, I got on mute. Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the grant is approved. Madam Clerk, can you please call item number 16?
Item number 16, the bond authorization in the amount of $6,275,387,000.
Thank you. Is there anyone present to speak to this? If so, please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Mr. President. TJ Plant, CAFO, 42 Garfield Street, Springfield. This is an authorization for the overall project for windows and doors at SciTech, or the High School of Science and Technology. And the NSBA is committed to funding 4.3 million of it, and the city's contribution is 1.8 million for a total of $6.2 million project.
Thank you, TJ. Are there any questions of the council at this time? Councilor Brown?
Not too much of a question. I just, why have you? Every single high school, they're complaining about their locker room. So if that's something you can look into. Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure. I can check on what the locker room issues might be, and with Pat Sullivan and Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, TJ. Are there any other questions of the council at this time? Right, seeing none, may I please entertain a motion to approve the order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Davila. I'll go with Councilor Allen on that. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to approve the order?
On approving the order, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez? Absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh? Counselor Walsh? Absent. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. May I please entertain a motion at this time to suspend Rule 19?
I make a motion to suspend Rule 19.
Proper second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Whitfield, properly seconded by Councilor Davila. Madam Clerk, on suspending Rule 19.
On suspension of Rule 19, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh? Absent. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, thank you, counselors. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is an order approving a contract over 3 years for a lease purchase financing of Pierce Enforcer 1500 GPM 750 gallon water pumper apparatus in the Springfield Fire Department.
Right, please state your name and address for the record, please.
TJ Plan CAFO, sorry, Commissioner Calvi was tied up this evening, so he asked me to cover for him. We're asking the city council for permission to do a 6-year lease to buy a new pumper truck. It replaces a 1998 truck apparatus with a blown transmission. We've been actively trying to get on a replacement schedule of all of our vehicles, especially our heavy equipment between DPW and police and fire. So this is something that we're hoping to get approved tonight.
Okay, thank you, TJ. Are there any questions from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, may I please entertain a motion to approve the order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Davila, seconded by Counselor Edwards. Madam Clerk, can you please vote to approve the order?
On approving the order, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. May I please entertain a motion at this time to suspend Rule 19?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Davila, proper second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Walsh. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on suspending Rule 19?
On suspending Rule 19, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, thank you, Counselors. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is an order approving easement for June's Way.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Edward Bakula, City Solicitor, Beaumont Street, Springfield. This is a easement that the city is approving that involves really a technicality for some people who live on June's Way, which is off of Brentwood, which is off of Tiffany Street in Springfield. Brentwood and June's Way are private ways, and it was discovered that the people who live there technically have no access to a public way across June's Way and Brentwood to get to Tiffany. Now, they travel that way every day, so they would have an easement by prescription, but this makes it so that the city, which also has some rights in that private way, is part of a group of all the neighbors who are approving an easement so that everyone can pass and repass across this property. And so there are no technical violations of any kind. It involved a lawsuit. It is the type of lawsuit that's a friendly lawsuit. As I said, the title defect was discovered and this will correct it. And it does not involve any increased responsibilities or obligations on the part of the city with regard to the easement. We already provide some services in that area and will continue to do so.
Thank you, Ed. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Attorney Piccola. Good to see you. That's in my district, and I do believe that development there is under 15 years old, correct? It's relatively brand new.
I'm old, but I don't think it's that old.
Oh, so you're newer than that. Okay.
I think it's closer to 30, 25.
Okay. I hate to do this, Ed, but I think I understood your explanation. Could you give me the 20-second version again? So basically, if I understood you correctly, that's so that street could be, the city could be involved in this, in that street?
Technically, all the people that live on this June's Way in Brentwood have a defect in their title. It's a technical defect.
Right.
But, this cures the defect by putting in writing in the registry of deeds that everyone there has the right to pass and repass to get to Tiffany Street. Technically, if I own one side, if I live on the street and you live on the street and it's private property, I own to the middle, you own to the other side.
Right.
Unless we're going to cooperate and let each other pass, we're going to have to stick to our own sides.
That could be a problem, yes.
This makes it so that everyone can use these premises jointly in an easement. As I said, the city is one of the owners of some rights there, so that's why we had to join in it.
All right, good. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions? Right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the order.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Davila, seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Can you please call the roll?
On the order, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman? Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is an order approving the CPC recommendation to fund Cottage Hill Square Grove.
I think you skipped the easement for AIC.
Oh, sorry about that. So number 19, in order accepting the easement from American International College for certain real property on State Street.
I can speak to that. I don't know if anyone else is here. I guess I'm
here. Yeah.
Oh, please state your name and address. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, William Marcos Gonzalez, 59 Lancaster Street. I'm a project manager with the Office of Planning and Economic Development. Thank you. I'm seeking acceptance for an easement on the ASC campus along State Street at no cost to the city, and it's for the installation of a new Valley Bike Station.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Are there any questions at this time? All right, see, Councilor Whitfield.
For the bike stations, are there any COVID-19 protocols as far as like cleaning the bikes after use and things like that?
I'm unaware. I'll have to reach out to the operator of a weekend that rotates the bikes through the stations.
So if someone used the bike and put it back, there's no mechanism to clean them after use right
Again,
now?
I'm unaware. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, in any of the Valley Bike stations currently?
Counselor, I'm unaware right now of any of that, but I can find out and let you know.
And for that reason, it's gonna be hard for me to approve putting the Valley Bike Station up because our numbers are increasing currently. We just started a new mask mandate. And so that would be something that I would need to know in order to vote to approve putting the bike station there. That's just me. So
Well,
I would like to.
I'm sorry. Well, I would say that this is creating the space for permanent infrastructure beyond the COVID pandemic. And so mitigation for the pandemic can definitely, I can talk to the Bowegan who operates the bikes, and we can definitely address that for the duration of the pandemic. For the easement, it's seeking to expand the network, and hopefully, once we get through the pandemic, it'll be there to be used by students and other residents of the city as well.
So this is just to create the easement, so the bike station isn't going up anytime soon, is what you're saying?
I'm saying that this is the first step in creating the bike station. We received the easement from EIC. EIC will have to create the pad, and then I'll network with Bowegan, the bike share company, to actually install the station. So Pension Plaza took a long time to get set up because there were a lot of back and forth, but this is the first step in that process. And
So
yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Do you have to come back to us for any other steps following this?
No, I'm working with EIC to install the station once the easement is accepted.
Okay, so you could just move right along with the process once this easement is approved. And so I don't know, Pension Plaza took a long time, but the process could have been streamlined since then. And so without knowing those details, I would still like to send this item to committee. And then once we have that answer, revisit approving the easement.
Madam Clerk, would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to send this item to committee.
Second.
All right, motion on the floor by Councilor Whitfield, seconded by Councilor Hurst. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on sending this back to committee?
On sending the order for an easement to committee, Councilor Edwards,
No.
no. Councilor Letterman,
No.
no. Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Curran,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Ramos,
No.
no. Councilor Brown,
No.
no. Councilor Walsh,
Yes,
yes. Councilor Davila,
Yeah, yes.
yes. Councilor Fenton,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Hurst,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Williams.
Yes, the item will be sent back to committee for further discussion.
Mr. President, I wasn't recorded on that vote. I believe Councilor Brown voted twice. I am a yes though for committee.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Madam Clerk, can you please ensure that he's recorded?
Yes, Councilor Ramos.
Thank you. The item will be sent to committee for further discussion, and it will be sent to maintenance and development. I think it's appropriate, Councilor Walsh, if you're in agreement.
yes, absolutely.
All right,
Try to
thank
do
you.
it in a timely fashion.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item before us?
Next item is number 20, in order for the CPC recommendation to fund Cottage Hill Square Grove.
All right, so counselors, for items 20 to 34, we're gonna hear them separately. I'm sure Mr. Carroll will give a little, kind of piece on each one. And then we'll take a vote for voting it up or down. And then at the end, because we will need to suspend Rule 19, if there's no objection, we can just take that all at one time. So with that being said, for item number 20, is there anyone present to speak to this? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, councilors. This is Bob McCarroll, Chair of the Springfield Community Preservation Committee. I reside at 96 Elliott Street. We're thrilled to be here for our...
Mr. McCarroll, I'm sorry. I hear a child in their background. I'm sorry, if you could just mute yourself, if it's not coming from Mr. McCarroll's phone.
It's not coming from my phone.
Thank you. Feel free to proceed.
So we're thrilled to be here. This is the fourth year that we've made recommendations to the City Council on projects. We began the year and in April received 27 applications asking for approximately $5 million when we had about half that amount to actually recommend to you. We met with all 27 applicants and then began our deliberations in June and ended them earlier this month. And if Karen Lee, our administrative consultant, could do some screen sharing, she's got our PowerPoint presentation that we can put up as I talk about the various projects.
Okay, yes, I can do that. Just a quick note to anyone that has the hard copy. I've reordered the slides to match your agenda here.
Thank you so much, Karen. And can you just please state your name and address for the record?
Sure, Karen Lee, 18 at Lawn Street in Springfield. And Mr. President, with your permission, I'd like to just make a quick plug about our annual public hearing in October.
Please do.
That is the opportunity for citizens to make comments on that will help the committee on priorities for next year's funding. And to register, there's a link on the committee's Facebook page, or you can send an email to CPC@springfieldcityhall.com to register to make a comment. And thank you very much for that. And I'll just share the screen now and we can get started.
So Karen will be first just putting up a map that gives you an overview of where the 15 projects are recommended. We have good distribution across the city. And I think in the 4 years of recommendations, almost every city neighborhood has had some sort of CPA project in it. So this gives you an idea of where this year's 15 projects are located. And if Karen, if you can go to the Cottage Hill Square Grove. So Cottage Hill Grove is a park in the Indian Orchard neighborhood. It actually was created by the Indian Orchard Mills as a private park, but at the early 20th century, it was donated to the city of Springfield and is now run by the park department. And the Office of Parks, Buildings, and Recreational Management will be carrying out this project, which includes work to the missing trees and work to the sidewalks and to the benches and the historic horse watering trough, which is now located here, as well as a variety of other landscaping issues. And we're recommending $250,000 toward this project.
Right. Thank you, Bob, for the description on this item. Are there any questions from the council on this Cottage Street project? And I'll ask, are there any questions from the council? Councilor Whitfield?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's not exactly directed to this Cottage Hill Square project, but it is directed to the committee because when we had this finance meeting on the CPC projects, we talked about the bathroom in the new park in Mason Square. I think we also talked about a driveway, and they said that repairs to that type of stuff isn't directly related to the park. And now I see like repairs to the walkway, new trash can, benches, and landscape. So I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between the repairs that Councilor Davila and I thought were part of the park project and repairs to the walkway.
Well, I guess my response to you, Counselor, would be in terms of when you have a park like this, that's a relatively passive park that has a series of sidewalks that crisscross it, that repairing those sidewalks for pedestrians to cross is one thing. I think the committee considers, it wasn't a driveway, it was a parking lot. So I think the committee considers that a place where you put cars is not a high priority for us in making recommendations to you. You know, in that case, it was an application to fix the tennis courts that we were more than happy to recommend, but we're not particularly happy to recommend fixing parking lots.
And I think during that meeting, Councilor Davila and I agreed that it's equally important to make sure that folks aren't tripping or falling when they're parking their car, getting damage to their vehicles when they're parking to visit this tennis court, and even the importance of folks not having to leave a park to use the restroom when they're having events. Not that it'll be open 24/7, but when they're having events, they shouldn't have to leave the park or go to the porta potty. But I guess I can save those comments until the open meeting in October. But I don't understand the difference. You're adding benches and you're repairing walkways and you're adding new trash cans. And I think that's all important. But I also think repairing a driveway and adding a bathroom to the park is equally important. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Ramos on the item.
Mr. President, thank you. I just wanted to officially thank Mr. O'Brien for bringing this project forward. You know, this is a project that is, I know, is near and dear to his heart. He lives right across the street, and he has committed a lot of his time, volunteered a lot of his time to the upkeep of that park. In fact, my daughter and I have volunteered several times to paint the benches at this park, and you know, that's one of the things that we know about the Indian Ocean communities, that we always come together when there is a need. And you know, this is a great project for the Indian Ocean community. I do have a question for Bob. When just in terms of the benches, are the benches going to be replaced? And if so, what kind of benches are going to be put in place?
Yeah, my understanding is that they will be putting in new benches, but I would defer to, I believe someone from the park department is attending tonight's meeting. I have the application in front of me, so I could be whipping through it to see it, but I'm pretty sure that it's new benches that will be installed. Some of the benches there are deteriorated.
Yes, and so in terms of the new benches, what sort of benches are you, or would the committee recommend, or you know, is it the choice of the committee to select those benches?
Well, I think that, you know, if the committee felt strongly about it, it would have put that as a condition. But, you know, we have assisted the park department in a variety of parks where they've been putting in benches, such as, although I'm not sure if they're installed yet, you know, on Barrel's playground in the Old Hill, on Marshall Roy, around where the new walking path will be created. And they tend to be the same kind of bench. They've installed them at the Veterans Circle up in East Springfield. So I think it's sort of the same kind of bench that they, in general, expect for their parks these days.
So the metal benches, basically, like the newer style. Okay, yeah.
But I would invite the Yeah, I would invite the park department to chime in case I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone from the Parks Department wants to weigh in, Mr. President. But if not, no, that's great. I just, I was just wondering, that is definitely one of the things that needs to be addressed in this park. I will miss painting the benches, but I won't miss painting the benches, if you know what I mean. So it would be great to have those updated. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Are there any other questions on this item? Great. Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the order.
Mr. President, would you like me to take the screen down while you're voting and then put it back up?
Could you? I'm sorry. Yes, Karen, that actually would be really helpful for me. I can still see the participants, but it would be helpful to see.
Okay.
I will now entertain a motion to approve the order.
Motion to approve the order.
Motion made by Councilor Edwards, seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam, can you please call the roll on approving the order?
On approving the order, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen? Councilor Allen? Absent. Councilor Kern?
All right, sorry, I went on mute. Sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
forgot I was
Councilor-
on mute.
Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Mr. President, point of quick order before my vote. Are we taking one by one or we're going to take the whole lot?
I'm taking one by one, Councilor.
One by one. Okay, yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. And as I mentioned, councilors will do the suspension of Rule 19 for all of the items after the last CPC recommendation.
Okay.
So Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item?
An order approving CPC recommendation to fund the Hotel Rainville and Newport Terrace apartments.
CPC, you have the floor.
Yes, so this is a major renovation being undertaken by Wayfinders. It will be renovating 4 historic apartment buildings that already are affordable housing, but they will be going through a total renovation. It's almost a $15 million project, and CPA will be assisting with the roofs on the buildings, and we're recommending $250,000. And I believe Mr. Linville from Wayfinders is here if there are any questions that I can't answer for you.
Thank you. Bob, are there any questions at this time?
Mr. President.
Councilor Brown? I'm sorry. Councilor Brown, I'm sorry. Who is that?
Councilor Davila, sir.
Oh, okay. Councilor Davila, if I can just take Councilor Brown, then you?
Without objection.
Okay. Councilor Brown?
Yes, I'm just curious as far as why would Wayfinders need it?
Is there a representative
Well,
from Wayfinders?
Yeah, well, let me just say this in general, and then Mr. Linville can comment. You know, total rehabilitation of buildings usually, at least here in Springfield, far exceeds their value once they are rehabilitated. And therefore, groups like Wayfinders have to be looking for sources to fill those gaps, because the banks are not going to give you loans to rehabilitate a building that's not worth as much as it costs to rehabilitate it. That's my general thought on it, but I'll let James address that.
I understand as far as some of the things they do, and I commend them for their work. They do a fantastic job. I would rather see them co-sign for someone to get an apartment or something. I know that they have funding and everything. They do get funding heavily. I'm just curious, why would they need our funding? I know they get funding.
Is there a representative from Wayfinders? If so, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, James Linfield. I'm the project manager with Wayfinders, 1780 Main Street in Springfield. As Chairman McCarroll mentioned, this is approximately a $15 million renovation project. We are seeking multiple sources of funding in order to be able to achieve this, our goal. Part of our funding comes from state and federal resources, and they seek local contributions as well. So in addition to the need for the funding, there's also it shows that there is commitment from the local community to support the project to move forward.
And I do understand that as far as my full-time job, I do fully support it. That's why I kind of am curious. Is it just an ask because you want to show that we support you? Because as far as getting the actual funding, you can get the funding elsewhere very easy. Citywide, it's a big ask. State and federal, it's just a drop in the bucket. That's why I asked. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. James, good to see you again. James, it's a good project. It's a project that is needed on that area, not just buildings. They're beautiful. They're historic. They need to be fixed and put to use so people to live. I think we're going to be getting like 130 people apartments that between all of them, or probably more. But again, I'll just make a call again, James, since Wayfinders will be getting, as you stated, federal, state, and now it appears local funding for the use of prevailing wage as to the extent as possible. Being public money is the expectation that, and the fair thing, in my opinion, that prevailing wage is used. I really hope that that is the case, and thank you for the project. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Ramos.
Mr. President, thank you. My line of questioning is going to be along the lines of the point that Councilor Davila just made in terms of the job itself. $15 million is a significant amount of money. It is, that is another tier in terms of the size and scope of a construction project. And our $250,000 potential contribution to this project is not an insignificant amount of money either. So, this is an investment from the public. This is taxpayer money that we're talking about, and our city currently has a responsible employer ordinance that Councilor Edwards and Councilor Allen are very, very familiar with. That states that in certain projects where there is a certain threshold of public funds that are invested into a certain project, and that project must meet a certain criteria. And so I would ask the law department, because this does meet the threshold, I believe this meets the threshold for the responsible employer ordinance. If there's anyone from the law department that can answer whether or not this project would be subject to the responsible employer ordinance.
Pakula.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it. I couldn't give you an opinion off the cuff of my hand.
Okay.
Point information, Mr. President.
Sorry, Councilor Davila.
No, I was just going to say a quick point information to Councilor Ramos, if I could.
Sure.
Councilor Ramos, I do believe that the threshold is 500,000.
Councilor Edwards, can you confirm that? Is it 500,000?
I believe that it is in fact $500,000.
And the previous threshold was 250,000. I do remember that, and I guess that was the new number that we settled on when we updated it.
Attorney, yeah, either way, can you just please provide some confirmation just to the entire council body on that?
Yeah, I think I would like to see that before I take a vote on this this issue. I need some clarification as to what whether or not this applies to the responsible employer ordinance, and whether it applies to the criteria within the ordinance. I do have some questions for the petitioner as well, though. Just in terms of the project itself, is this going to be one major project? Are you going to be breaking it up into different smaller projects?
It will be, it's one project. All the funding occurs at the same time. Each of the buildings will be individually worked on through the project period, but funding occurs all at the same point.
And so will this, when this goes out for bid, is it going to be bid as one project?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any contractors in mind that you typically use for these sorts of projects? Who does Wayfinders usually go with?
We try to find local contractors, and we have used locally Western Builders, NL Construction, which Western is out of Granby, NL is, I think, out of Ludlow. We also have high levels of MBE and WBE requirements that we seek from the contractors in all subs through the project.
So just a few points I want to make to my colleagues, Mr. President, if I could. I'm going to make a motion that we send this item to committee for further discussion. The reason being, I think that we need to have a conversation about what sorts of requirements and what sorts of, whether or not we want to entertain the idea of tying CPA projects to the responsible employer ordinance. I mentioned this a couple of years ago as a possibility. I wanted to entertain the idea of a new ordinance that would require CPA projects that are above a certain threshold to fall under that the REO ordinance. And just so you know, there's a reason for that, right? It's called the REO is the responsible employer ordinance. What we want to do is we want to encourage public funded projects to be constructed by responsible employers. There are many bad actors in the construction industry. The construction industry is notorious for companies that cut corners, that cheat, that don't pay fair wages, and it's notorious for wage theft. And that happens a lot in the construction industry. And I do have concerns of some of those names that were mentioned and those companies that were mentioned, because I'm very, very intimately familiar with them and their practices. And if we're going to make a public investment, we're going to invest public funds, taxpayer money into this project, then I want to make sure that those companies are going to be held accountable and that they're going to be paying the wages that they are required to pay, and they're not going to participate in wage theft. There's a misconception that a lot of people think that, because companies are these construction companies, they hire staff, they hire workers that on paper and in person, they reflect, right, the community in which they're working. That you see a lot of diversity, and there's a misconception that's enough, right? The fact that we have diverse workforce, there's a company that hires a diverse workforce, that should be enough, but it's not, because it does us no good to provide jobs for the people in our community if those workers are going to be taken advantage of and not being paid what they're entitled to. And so those folks might be put to work, but they may be victims of wage theft, and that does us no good, right? So we want to make sure that we're aware of that, and that we're advocating for, yes, diversity, but we're also making sure that those folks that diverse workforce is being paid and being taken care of, that they're working under safe conditions, and that we're not putting unnecessary public resources into projects for companies that are not going to play by the rules. So I make a motion, Mr. President, that we send this to committee. I would like to have a more extensive conversation around this, and potentially get a commitment from for the petitioner that there will be some strong anti-wage theft language in their proposal, and discuss further ideas as to how we can make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Before that, Councilor Brown, on the motion, or did you have a outside?
I'm on the motion, Mr. President.
Okay, did you want to make a comment on the motion, or
Yes, Mr. President.
All right, feel free to.
I would have to agree with my colleague. I think a lot of times we have a lot of organizations that do a great job, and it's still certain things as far as the common worker and the person who's actually out there doing the labor. And it seems like there is a disconnect. Too many times we find that a lot of people, they don't even live in Springfield. So I agree with my colleague, and I'd like to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Letterman on the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate Councilor Ramos bringing this forward. I know it's something that we've discussed for a couple of years here at the council relative to making sure that we bring, as many projects that are publicly financed under the REO as possible. So I plan to support the vote to committee. I just had a quick question for Mr. McCarroll, Chairman McCarroll, because I also am supportive of the project and I do want to see the project move forward. So what's the timeline in which we need to have this back before the council, Bob, to make sure that we continue to see the project move forward?
Well, the Chapter 44B, the overarching law that governs CPA across the Commonwealth, doesn't have timelines. So as long as you don't send it to committee and it stays there, that whatever that 90 days or 9 months or whatever is, and it's automatically died, you're all set. I mean, so whatever amount of time it will take the committee to refer it back is whatever it takes, and then we will be crafting a contract with the recipient with the help of the law department.
Excellent. And Mr. Linfield, what about your timeline and for the project itself, and where are you at right now with your other funding sources?
Oh, well, we have an application that we will submit at the end of October to the state. It's called a pre-application. We would have hoped to known if we had city support at that application.
But you're not submitting that application for another month and a half?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we got a little bit of time. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. There's a motion on the floor made by Councilor Ramos, seconded by Councilor Brown to send this back to committee. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll on that?
I'm sending the order to committee. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, this item has been sent back to committee. Madam Clerk, Councilor Whitfield?
I just wanted to let folks know that Attorney Pakula he has confirmed that section 8245 definitions that project is defined as more than 500,000 as a threshold. I don't know if everybody's seen that.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can we please call the next item?
The next item on the agenda, item number 22, is order approving CPC recommendation to fund Blunt Park tennis courts.
Real quickly to Councilor Ramos, any of the applications that you're looking at tonight, you can go right to the Springfield Community Preservation page on the city website, and there's a link to all the applications in more detail if anyone's interested in that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Karen, if you can put up the Blunt Park page. This is a request that comes in from the Department of Parks, Buildings, and Recreational Management. There are 6 tennis courts in Blunt Park that are in need of reconstruction, and we are recommending $250,000 toward that.
Right, thank you, Bob. Karen, if you could just, I'm sorry, put me back. Do any councilors have questions on this particular item? Councilor Brown?
Just a statement. I know it's in my district. It's something that we really do appreciate. So I thank you guys. I know a lot of people now are worrying about that track, just to put it in your ear. That gravel track's been there too long. But thank you guys for your work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Hurst?
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 things. I actually agree wholeheartedly with Councilor Brown. I do think this is a very worthy project. And, I actually want to thank Pat Sullivan. He made the gravel track look a little better, but certainly not anywhere near where we want it to be. And I'm sure Councilor Brown wants it to be. The only other thing that I just want to make note, which I've already spoken to Bob about, but just to go on the record, I do not think that any department of the city of Springfield ought to be submitting applications to the CPA. I think these monies should go to the residents and should be resident driven, not go to the residents, but should be resident driven. And what I'd hate to see happen is for city departments starting to get involved and, submit applications when they probably should be paid out of the general fund. So just my 2 cents, and hopefully the CPA committee will take that into consideration moving forward.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Are there any other questions or comments at this time? Great. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the order.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, proper second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll?
On approving the order, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. And as a kid that grew up on the Blunt Park tennis courts and developing a massive forehand, I'm happy that this went through. Madam Clerk, can we please call the next item?
The next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the historic renovation of 2612 Main Street.
Thank you. So this is an early 20th century 4-story apartment block that has been vacant and severely deteriorated for some time on the corner of Main and Arch Street in the Memorial Square neighborhood. It was foreclosed for the city by the city for back taxes and put out for request for proposal. And there is now a company that is going to be renovating it back into a functioning apartment building with, I believe, 12 apartments. It's a $3.5 million project, and we are recommending $250,000 to go into exterior renovations and fire suppression system.
Thank you, Bob. Are there any, Councilor Fenton?
Thank you, Mr. President. Bob, I remember many years ago when the city put this out for RFP and we gave this property to a developer with a development plan. Is this the same? Well, let me ask this a different way. When did the city give this property to the developer and for how much money?
The developer is actually attending the meeting, and I'm going to let him address that. My understanding, though, is this RFP went out within the last year. So if you're thinking of something further back, it may have been a proposal that never went forward. But Mr. Hanoush is on the meeting and can answer that question better than I.
State your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Jacob Hanoush here, Cedar Investment Group, 1163 Main Street. And to answer your question, Councilor Fenton, the purchase price is $10,000 from the city.
Thank you. Bob, you're right. It was, what I'm referring to was probably about 5 or 6 years ago to a different developer altogether. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Are there any other questions at this time? Seeing Councilor Ramos.
So a few questions regarding the overall scope of the project. Is 3.7, is it 3.7 for the entire renovation of that property?
It's approximately 3.5 million. That is correct.
Okay. What is your commitment to local and diverse hiring for this project?
So between myself, Cedar Investment Group, and Cedar Construction, and Whitman Properties, we're both handling the renovation of the project. We both currently employ approximately 60 employees at hand, as well as work with probably a couple hundred different subcontractors who all primarily work in the Camden County region. And I can assure you, we are staying local here. We like to keep this project local, and we very rarely ever bring anybody from outside of Camden County to do any of our work.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Are there any other questions? Councilor Letterman?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm just sort of wondering about this project along the same lines of what we discussed with the previous project. I mean, this is the same amount of money. It's a smaller overall. It's a smaller overall expenditure at 3 million versus the much larger Wayfinders project, but it's the same amount of money that we're contributing. And so I'm just wondering, how the council feels about being consistent this evening with getting this opinion from the law department and seeing about how we're going to move forward with those projects. I mean, this is one of 3 projects that fall outside of the city's management. In other words, once these move forward, they're going to be under the management of private citizens and private developers, whereas the rest is all going to be being expended through the city of Springfield, meaning it'll be subject to our requirements anyways. So I feel like if we sent the last one to committee for this legal opinion, we really need to do the same thing for this one, and we probably need to do the same thing for item 29. So I think I'm curious what folks think about that, but it's the same exact amount of money for a very similar process. And I think if we're going to move forward with that idea, we have to be consistent with it across all the applications.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion, Councilor Letterman?
Yeah. So I would move that we also refer this one to committee. And it's nothing against the developer. I just think if we're going to look to secure those commitments to falling under the REO, we should be consistent about it. I'm certainly open to if folks, if I'm reading this differently than folks, I want to hear it, but it seems to me to be very similar to the last item that we've heard. So for the purposes of discussion, I would move that we refer this item to committee as well.
Great. If you can indulge me for a moment, Councilor Letterman, Councilor Brown on the motion. Councilor Brown on the motion.
Yes, I do agree. Thank you, Mr. President. I do agree with both of my colleagues. I always look at certain of my colleagues have expertise and more expertise in certain fields, just as I do. I know with Councilor Ramos, there's an issue where he's always been able, when it came to the labor stuff, he's very strong at it. So am I. I have some strength in it. And some of my colleagues, this is some of my colleagues, this is.
Councilor Brown. Councilor Brown, we can't hear you. So for the time being, I'm going to move to Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just on the motion, Mr. President, and to Councilor Letterman's point, I think that there are some differences between this project and the one that we sent to committee. However, I am not opposed to sending this one to committee as well. We certainly should entertain a conversation about coming up with a wider policy and potentially discuss the possibility, again, like I said earlier, of attaching CPA projects to the responsible employer ordinance above a certain threshold. So I will support the motion to committee. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I get concerned sometimes with some of the discussions about projects coming into the city. I think we all realize that we certainly have been through difficult years, and difficult time this last year with the pandemic, that we tend to look like we're anti-business. And that kind of bothers me because I think people need jobs, and I think the city needs activity. So I'm not going to support sending all these businesses to committee because I don't know what their timelines are. I don't know, why can't we take the word of people that they are doing a good job, that they are going to hire locally? I don't like the anti-business feeling that I'm sensing. And that's my opinion. And obviously other people have different opinions, but that's how I feel.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Davila, followed by Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a point of clarification. What is the intent of the motion, to send all the remaining items to committee or just specific ones?
Councilor Letterman, can you speak on that?
Sure. So no, the intent of the motion on this particular item would be to go to committee because it's the same amount of money and for similar purposes as the last item that we just sent to committee for Wayfinder. So it's certainly not about being anti-business at all. I just think that Councilor Ramos raised a good point about the expenditure of taxpayer funds through private entities, which is what the CPA project or what the CPA committee is meant to do. But if we're going to add requirements for one of the projects, we have to add requirements for all of the projects. I don't know that it makes sense to treat one project differently than other projects when the amount of money is the same and the general expenditure purpose is the same. So I'm really just looking at it from the perspective of making sure that we're consistent in our application of the rules if we're going to travel down that path in this round of CPA awards.
Mr. Chair, that was a good explanation, but I'm still a little confused. So is the intent to send the remaining items, all of them?
No, Councilor Davila. No, there's to Councilor Letterman's point. I think he's just referring to the items that would involve some kind of rehabilitation where folks, of course, contractors would have to come in to do renovations. There's specific items on the agenda for CPC money that fall under that category. I think those are the ones he's referring to only. So this, and he mentioned item 29 as well.
Item 29, correct. That's what I thought. That's what I was looking for clarification. I just want to say that although I think there's a logic into what Councilor Letterman is saying, and we should come up with some sort of a policy as to how we say this. I don't want to hold up the entirety of the projects. In my mind, the ones that I'm looking at is the ones that involve housing. Specifically, item 29 does not involve housing, and it's not even close to 250,000. So although I think that it makes sense, I will not be voting in favor of item 29. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Brown, circle back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I would have to agree with my colleague, Councilman Letterman. He reiterated a lot of the same sentiments that I would feel. I come from the business field.
Oh, they're jerking around now.
Excuse me.
Can you hear me?
Excuse me, Councilor Brown. Mr. LeBaron, I think you are not muting yourself, and I would appreciate if you would, please. Thank you. Councilor Brown.
Yes. And it's still just a matter of making sure that we do good business. I think that is the sentiments of my colleagues, Councilman Letterman and Councilman Orlando. Okay, Rainville. I believe that it's still just a matter of just good practice, letting us make sure, because too many times the people actually are busting the rocks, haven't really got their fair share. And as a council, if we have an opportunity to slow some of these big entities down, to make sure that they're represented properly, I believe that we should do so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any other questions from the council at this time? I see Mr. Hanush, did you have a comment?
Yes, I just want to make a comment, certainly valid. I can appreciate that. It wouldn't be wise of me not to make mention, and I know it's not readily available information. This property currently is rapidly deteriorating. Just wanted to make note of that. There is some structural concerns, and I just really would like the council to know that making a decision with this property and making appropriate funding is available for it. The CPA fund, in combination with state and federal tax credits, would be, part of making sure that this project is viable. And historic property of this nature, and its location and current blighted position, really just wanted to make it known that property kind of on the cusp of being able, whether or not to be able to be repaired and restored to former glory. So I wanted to make mention of that.
Thank you, Mr. Hanush. Councilor Letterman on the motion.
Yeah, Mr. President, I appreciate you recognizing this. I wanted to make sure that they were able to speak as well, as I saw their hand up. And on that point, Mr. Hanush, first of all, deeply appreciate your commitment to the project and the plan you brought forward. I certainly plan to ultimately support it, and I'm sure the rest of the council does too. To that point, what's your timeline moving forward? Say you were approved tonight, what would be your timeline moving forward?
We are in the process of trying to get a special permit applied for and approved. Once we do that, we have our applications ready for tax credits. We'll be putting those in shortly, and we hope to be able to get this funding in time. Just the deterioration of the property doesn't go as quickly as it appears that it has been going for some time now.
When do you intend to submit those tax credit applications?
It looks like we missed this last round. It would be December. But I guess there was a condition that, once we knew we did have, some portions of the funding available, we would, ask the city to make entry into the property and hopefully be able to mitigate that roof leak and make it so that, causing more damage.
So I feel it sounds like your next round of funding you need to apply for is December. That's when about how much money you'll have committed from the city. So I'm comfortable, having one committee meeting and then moving forward with it, just so we can clarify, if any requirements are going to be placed on the funds. And, my concern is just us being consistent, counselors. If we're going to require funds of one company to be placed under restriction, I think we have to be consistent across the board. So I would, stand by my motion to committee along with the last project that we did. I think we need to move swiftly on it and have it on the next agenda if we do so, but I appreciate folks' comments.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Councilor Edwards on the motion.
Actually, for this, all the comments I've heard from my colleagues have been on point. Councilor Walsh is correct. We don't want to be anti-business. We want to support and increase investment in our city. But Councilor Ramos is also correct, and Councilor Brown and Councilor Letterman in terms of being consistent in how we approach these. But this is the call for us as a council to do our due diligence and to get into this, because Councilor Hurst is correct. When we talk about the entities that already have a source of accessing money, which is the Parks Department, DPW, and places using CPA, we need to look at whether that is what we want to really use the money for. And if so, then that's fine. But the real issue that I'm concerned with is that quite often we give out public money, and I use Maple Street row houses as an example. I believe it's been more than 4 or 5 years ago that we put public money and significant amounts of money into that, and those buildings have not been renovated yet. And once again, we don't control, once we give up the money, it seems like we don't have any controls about whether or not they actually just hold on to the money or how long it takes for them to get the money to complete the project. So regardless of whether or not we send these 3 items to committee or not, we need to get together and figure out how and where the trigger may be for us as a city in terms of the CPA money and what type of oversight it comes into. It's the same as when we talk about the TIFs. Do we have oversight? When Union Station was coming online, the city made a significant contribution to that project, but we did not have the REO have oversight because our state contribution did not subvert the federal contribution. And as such, the REO had no control of the hiring at that site. If we're going, we just have to figure out what our blueprint and plan for moving forward is. And I don't really want to see these projects held up while we do that work, but let it just be known, regardless of the committee, this is the work we need to be addressing right now, is moving forward, whether it's regardless where the source of the money, but if it's public money, how do we have control of who they hire and where that money is spent and how it's kept local and a benefit to the taxpayers of the city of Springfield?
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. Councilor Brown on the motion.
Yes, I have to once again agree with my colleague, both of my colleagues. Councilman Letterman, when he makes the point where we do have to be fair. It's a project that I know that I'm going to support. I believe I'm going to support it, but we owe it to ourselves and the other petitioners to be fair and go through a process of screening it in a way. I do, as long as it's not going to hinder it, but we do have to watch out with some of, I don't know if I'm breaking up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mr. President? We do want to make sure that some of these things are very time sensitive. So we want to make sure that it doesn't hinder some of the process. But if we have time to scrutinize them and look and make sure that we can help, just help them along with some of the processes and help make sure that the other individuals in our community benefit. It's important. Thank you, Mr. President. My connection isn't that great, so that's why I'm not talking so much. But thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, you were heard. Thank you, Councilor Hurst.
Yeah, and not to complicate matters further, but I also believe that I read in a memo from Tim Sheehan that one of these projects might also be coming back before the city council to receive a TIF from us. Not sure if it's this one or if it's one of the other ones, but I think a larger conversation needs to be had as to how much taxpayer money are we actually going to give to one individual. So I don't know if it was this project, but certainly something we need to consider, and it may not matter in terms of hiring if they are coming back before the city council, because then I'd imagine that the TIF rules would apply at that point in time. So.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. I would like to get rid of this motion on the floor made by Councilor Letterman. Do we have a proper second to continue this? Or send it to committee, I should say.
Mr. President, can we clarify the motion, sir?
Sure, it's a motion to send this back to committee for further discussion.
Item number 23.
Item number, yes.
Number 23, okay.
Second.
Right, it's been properly seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll?
On sending the order to committee, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
No.
No, Councilor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
No,
No, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams.
Yes, this item has been sent back to committee. Madam Clerk, please, the next item.
Item number 24 is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the Kilroy House exterior renovation.
Mr. President, just for your own edification, and I think it was Councilor Edwards, when there's an outside grantee, as in the case of the large construction jobs, they don't receive funding until they've spent the funds on what the CPA grant was supposed to be used for. And then someone from the committee, usually Bob or myself, will go and review the work that was done before reimbursing for those funds. So it's not like we just cut them a check for $250,000. There is accountability on those funds. Just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Feel free to proceed.
Bob, are you there? Did we lose Bob McCarroll?
I hope not.
Oh, all right. I think I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is a Mission Revival House on Chestnut Street, which is part of the campus of the Springfield Museums. It is made of stucco, and the stucco is in deteriorated condition, and we are recommending $250,000 to do exterior repair of Kilroy House.
Thank you, Bob. Are there any questions from the council at this time? Councilor Letterman.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm not trying to belabor the point, but I would just simply say this is the same type of project that we just sent to committee for the last year.
Would you like to make a motion?
I think that if we're being consistent, we have to send this to committee as well. So yes, I make a motion.
There's a motion on the floor, Councilor Davila, on that motion.
I just have a quick question on this. Is this a property, a house, or what is the use of this property?
This was built as a house, but it is now the administrative offices of the Springfield Museums. And before they acquired it, it was a radio station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. And so they want to do the exterior renovations All right.
Yes, a year ago, the council funded our recommendation to do work to the Spanish tile roof that was leaking and to study how best to fix the stucco. So that has taken place, and now we're ready for the next phase, which is actually fixing the stucco.
Okay. Do we have the proponent here, the person doing this? Do they have anybody representing the entity?
I'm not, as I'm
Yes.
scrolling through, is there someone from the Springfield Museums here, Karen?
Oh no, Molly.
No,
there
I'm not
was.
seeing.
Molly,
Okay, that's okay, Mr. President. Nobody's here.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
This is
Kay.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
Kay
here.
Simpson's here.
I'm sorry,
and
please
I-
state your name and address for the record.
This is Kay Simpson, and I work at the Springfield Museums. Do you want the Springfield Museums address?
Sure.
It's 21 Edward Street,
Feel free to proceed. Thank you.
Springfield.
Hi, Kate. I was just wondering if you could just give us a quick insight as to what this project.
Sure. This project, as Bob, I think, did a very good job providing you with an overview. The Kilroy House is a historic building on the campus of the Springfield Museums. We did do preliminary work on the building last year. It's a very unusual building. We're very proud to have it as part of the quadrangle. It is in a state where it does need repair. So there was work done on the roof of the building last year with funds from the CPA. We also did some work under the guidance of Steve Jablonski to look at the composition of the stucco. And we found out through this examination that the stucco actually has asbestos in it, which is going to complicate the repair of the stucco.
Right.
But again, with Steve Jablonski leading the project, we have come up with a system of actually adhering the stucco together, so we don't have to replace all of it. But actually, it's and it's a very technical process using
Right.
pens.
Right. Kate, how much money did you get last year for this project from the CPA?
97, and Bob can correct me, but I believe it's $97,000. $97,000.
Okay. Okay. Just a quick question, Bob. Is there a limit that somebody can get, so many times they can apply, or is there an amount limit?
There is not. The committee itself has set its own standard that it's not recommending for any one project in any one year more than $250,000.
Right.
But that's a locally imposed standard.
Oh.
But the CPA state law doesn't speak to how often one can get assistance.
And right, okay, right. And so, Kate, I just want to ask you, because that you know, it is public money, it is tax money, and it seems that there's an appetite in the council to ensure that it stays local and it has a multiplying effect on the economy through prevailing wage and local jobs. What is the is that something you can speak of in this meeting?
Well, I've heard the discussion that's been taking place tonight, and I certainly understand it. This is a very specialized repair, and I was hoping that Rich Lyon from the museums would be on the call. He has been working with Steve on the project, and I think the issue is to get someone in who understands how to deal with this historic material. So, you know, in essence, we totally agree that we would want to bring in people that are local and
Right.
also are diverse and in terms of their background.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are some limitations on what we can do
So that would be like a unique
because
project.
the need,
Okay,
because
okay.
it is a unique project.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I see Rich is on now.
Please state
Yeah.
your name and
Oh,
address for the record, Rich.
My name is Rich Line. I'm the Director of Safety and Security at the Springfield Museums, 21 Edward Street in Springfield.
Good evening.
The problem we're having is there's not an overabundance of restoration contractors that do stucco work in this area.
Right.
We're very, very limited. There's a lot of guys that have done stucco work, but because of the age of the building and the associated problems that go along with an older building, it has to be somebody who's done this work before.
Right.
Steve Jablonski has worked with the contractor that we've been dealing with for the last couple of months. Steve has been doing all sorts of tests with all sorts of different fastening stuff and remediation contractors for the asbestos because we have tainted stucco. Like I say, the biggest problem is that we need a specialist to come in to do this work. And you know, unfortunately, the closest one that we can find is somebody from just over the line in Connecticut.
Okay. All right, thank you, Rich. Mr. President, I think, again, although I agree that we really should sit down to the appropriate committees and figure out a policy. I see this as a unique project, one with historical impact to our city and affecting the vista, which we've been trying to really salvage in downtown. So I agree we need to, and this is substantial money. It's not only $250,000. It's $250,000 plus the 97 they got last year. So I do have an expectation for people that keep coming year to year, getting money from CPC money to hire locally and prevailing wage. But again, we should really sit down and discuss this further to the proper committees. On this particular item, I think, although I understand following the logic, I think this being a unique project, I think it should move forward as proposed. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Whitfield on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to state that there was a finance committee meeting held on CPA funds at the request of Bob and Karen. They actually requested the meeting twice because I actually forgot. And all of the people that are on this meeting tonight took the time to attend that meeting so that we could go over all of these items and hopefully prevent meetings like this being so long. And so the finance committee was held. Now it was published, and if folks can't make it on those dates but really, really want to attend, just reach out and we could try to reschedule it where we can get the most attendance, you know, at the meetings, because this is time consuming and it happens a lot. And they did reach out a couple times and everybody was on the email, and a lot of the counselors were there. They also sent the applications and the proposals ahead of time for us to read and review. And so there were a few counselors at the meeting, and I know that everybody can't make it. I know that that's not an expectation, and I will do better reaching out to the group to see if we can get the majority of the counselors to the meeting. But this is why they requested the meeting, because it drags on in a regular city council meeting, things that we could have really discussed in the finance committee meeting. We actually even waited online an extra 15 minutes for counselors to join and still held the meeting and went over a little bit. And so I'm just going to encourage counselors to please attend the subcommittee meetings, because now we have to have another subcommittee meeting on what could have been discussed in the first subcommittee meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Duly noted. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I have a couple of comments. One, I'd like to say that I have a lot of faith in the CPA committee bringing forth worthy projects that they feel benefit the entire city, and that they're not bringing, based on my experience with them, they're not going to bring forward projects with people who are not going to help benefit the city of Springfield. And I feel very strongly that the Springfield Museums has a wonderful reputation. It benefits not only the city, but the entire community. And they also have a great reputation. And this is a continuation of a project. And I don't see the sense of holding them up when we are just continuing something that's already been approved. So again, I am not going to support a move to committee.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Brown on the motion.
I really, when it comes to, thank you, Mr. President. When it comes to me, I always study, a lot of our subcommittees are on Zoom. I've had subcommittees about these matters where, you know, some of the council members couldn't make it. I have 5 children, so sometimes, and then I still have to worry about my district. Sometimes when it comes to certain meetings, you know, I make sure that I still stay educated on it. I believe that we do have to do our due diligence just when it, and I agree with even my colleague, Councilor Whitfield, because in her meetings, if you pay attention to them, she does her thing. That's what she even does for a living when it comes to the actual things that is her expertise. So I think as a body, we do have to pay attention to each other and what each other is saying, and just, you know, pay attention to it. But this time is a very hard time. So I don't ever want to fault anyone, but I do think we have to do our due diligence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Ramos on the motion.
Also, Mr. President, very quickly, I just want to say that there is a difference between this proposal and the previous ones that we sent to committee. I think this one is on a much smaller scale, and it's it does require a certain specialty and certain craft that is not present in the other 2 proposals that we sent to committee. So I'm open to approving this one tonight. I don't necessarily think that, and I appreciate Councilor Letterman's effort to remain consistent. But there is a little bit of a difference in this project, and I think I would support this move forward and approving this one, as opposed to sending it to committee, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback on what I said. I'm not, you know, blaming anybody or, you know, saying that folks aren't busy. I can't make every meeting. I know folks can't make every meeting. I just wanted to say if we could communicate better and maybe reschedule meetings that's beneficial to the majority of us, so that we can prevent long meetings like this in the future, because it's really exhausting. And we have a 10 o'clock threshold. I also wanted to say that the CPA application does not state that people cannot come back for funding for the same type of projects. That's actually permitted. And this is a continuation. So I'm also going to vote to move this one forward.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Letterman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me start by saying I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all the applicants. This is never personal or about any one applicant. It's just about you know, what decisions we make to make sure that we have the proper fiscal oversight. But seeing as how this is a continuation of a previously funded project, it's a nonprofit, and the total dollar amount is much lower, I think we can make that differentiation. And so with that said, I will withdraw the motion. Again, you know, my intent is always the same as everybody's, which is, you know, to preserve the integrity of our body and just ensure that we move forward consistently. I think we all share that goal, and I think it's a good argument to move forward with this one tonight, and probably with the following as well. So looking forward to having that broader policy conversation, and then hopefully we can get those first 2 pushed forward as soon as possible as well, because I think everybody supports that too. And I was also at the Finance Committee, and always appreciate Councilor Whitfield's diligence in holding those meetings.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Councilor Letterman has withdrawn his motion. Is there any further discussion on this particular item? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the order.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Davila, second by Counselor Walsh. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On approving the motion, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item?
The next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the Stone Soul Memorial Garden.
Well, thank you. This is a proposal that came in from the Park Department with the support of the Bay Neighborhood Council and the organizers of the Stone Soul Committee. And it is to do a series of things to a portion of Blunt Park. The major issue is to create a memorial garden for the Stone Soul celebration that's been going on for decades, to rehabilitate the picnic pavilion that's nearby, to refurbish the picnic area, which is that curvilinear path that you see on the bottom of the aerial view, and to refurbish the straight line path that connects the Park Road to both the Memorial Garden and on to the picnic pavilion, and to do some work with the children's play equipment there. And we're recommending $248,000.
Thank you, Bob. Counselor Brown?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is a project, not only do I agree with it, it's not enough and it's laughable. I know Councilor Whitfield and Councilor Hurst, and yourself. We know when it comes to the certain areas that they had a parade and the ongoing traffic was still going on. The amount of disrespect that they have, I believe, for the Black community is just in certain situations, and I love everyone. So I appreciate this one. And I love you guys for doing it. We got to do better. We need a little bit more than that, but I definitely appreciate this one. Great job on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Are there any other comments or questions from the council? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the order.
Make a motion to approve the order.
Motion made by Counselor Whitfield, proper second.
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 Seconded by Counselor Walsh. Madam, can you please call the roll?
On approving the order, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item?
The next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the Forest Park Picnic Grove.
This is a proposal coming from the Parks, Buildings, and Recreational Management to refurbish the picnic grove and the pavilion, which is opposite the Rose Garden as you're driving in from Sumner Avenue. If the Rose Garden's on your left, the picnic pavilion and picnic grove is on the right. The picnic pavilion is in horrible shape, and the building department has condemned it, and I believe it's already gone. So this is a proposal to reconstruct that pavilion and to refurbish the picnic tables and the pathways to access them. And it comes with a condition that the committee wants to see the rustic character of the old picnic pavilion replicated in the new one. We don't want to see something that looks like it just came out of Home Depot. And we are recommending $242,000 for this project.
Thank you, Bob. Councilor Whitfield.
Yes, Bob, my question is, what is the purpose of the picnic pavilion? Is that to provide protection?
My understanding, Counselor, is that folks use it for picnics, and like if you're having a birthday party for your kid and you're doing a picnic as part of it, you use the pavilion. I've never used it myself or gone to an event there, but when the committee was discussing it, numerous committee members who are more familiar with it than I am were saying they have seen times that the people are there early in the morning decorating it in anticipation for some event they're having. So as best as I know, it's sort of a party pavilion for folks that are picnicking in that grove.
All right, so I actually know what a pavilion is used for, but to my point is a bathroom to me is more important than a picnic pavilion. So I'm only saying that because when folks have to use the restrooms, they either have to go to a dirty porta potty or they have to leave the park. And so I think that it's more beneficial to have that and safe driveways than to restore a pavilion in a park. But that's just my opinion. I know it's beautification of the park, but I also would like to think of what the need is for the community when going to a park. Do they need a pavilion more or do they need a bathroom more? So I just said that to make that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to shed some light on this particular development, this pavilion is used, as Bob said, as picnics / parties, but also for weddings. It's a very well-known area for weddings. That whole area there too is usually used for some beautiful pictures. There's also a safety component to this because it's also for the grove itself, and that's a safety issue as well. And there's like a little screen there, if I'm not mistaken, Bob, as well. And so there's not only beautification, but also the safety as well. Thank you, Mr. President. There's no words.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions or comments from the council at this time? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the order.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Davila, seconded by
Second.
Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On the order, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Councilors, I just want to point out the time now is 10 o'clock. And I definitely need unanimous consent to proceed. So at this time, I'll just want to put it on the floor. If anyone objects to proceeding, then we must stop. But if not, we can continue. Okay, with that, Counselor Walsh.
I'm just curious because I don't have it in front of me. How many more agenda items do we have?
Counselor Walsh, we have around, I want to say
Off the agenda.
20, 15 to 20.
15 to 20 more? Are they all CPA?
No, they're actually, there's zoning ordinances, there's typical ordinances. I know there's resolutions, there's other items as well, a variety, I should say, of items.
Well, I'd support going forward for another hour, but after 11, I don't know what kind of, if we'll all be making good decisions. So.
Yes, sure thing. And Counselor Walsh, you can feel free to make a motion at that time if you feel it's appropriate.
Thank you.
Can we go till 10:30 and then check back in?
I got my hand up.
Yes, I said Counselor Brown.
Are there things that require immediate attention is what I would first ask.
Counselor Brown, the only item that I know had a little bit of urgency to it was the executive session scheduled for this evening. The executive session this evening was going to be more informational kind of in purposes, but an official vote of that matter was going to take place at a later time. It is possible that we could pair both things together for a special meeting so that we don't have to have them separately, but that is at the will of the body.
So as a member, I object. I'm on my honeymoon.
So we have an objection, Counselor Hurst. Before I handle that, let me get to Counselor Hurst, Counselor Brown.
I mean, if Counselor Brown objects, that may be the end of the story. But my thought would be just to get through the CPAs. I know I have the agenda item right after the CPA. And so I would be sacrificing an agenda item that I have on the docket, which, I certainly would be willing to do. But there also were some issues around documentation as well as notice around the executive session. And so I think it would give folks enough time to actually get the information before the council, because I think for a number of those ordinances, I don't see them in the agenda packet. I know my order wasn't in the agenda packet. And so it just would make for it to be a cleaner process. So I would think that we get through the rest of the CPAs and then call it a night. That would be my recommendation, but it is on Counselor Brown.
Thank you, Counselor Hurst. And Counselor Brown, before I dispose of your motion, Counselor Davila, I'll take your comment.
No, just Counselor Hurst beat me to the punch. I do think that we should finish the CPA. Congratulations, Counselor Brown. You're on a honeymoon and still on the meeting. Quite shows dedication. Congratulations to you. And so, my thinking is let's finish the CPA. Is the executive session, if we finish, is the executive session still sacrifice as well, or is that considered separate?
Yes, Counselor. We can include that in the motion that is made. And just to that point, and Attorney Pakula can hop in if need be, but I think it would be okay for us to both have a conversation around executive session. And then throw the vote on for that same meeting.
Okay.
Attorney
Thank you,
Pakula,
Mr.
would that be appropriate?
Thank you.
Attorney Pakula, would that be appropriate?
Point of information.
Counselor Brown, yes.
Based on what the guidelines are, if there was an actual counselor who did not want to proceed, is
yes
that what we do?
Yes, I'm aware of the rule, Counselor. I am just trying to hash.
I want to continue, if I may, Mr. President. I still would want to, as my colleagues would say, there are certain things that I would just, like I said, would like to, whatever we can pull out, let's pull them up. The CPA stuff, whatever my colleague, Counselor Hurst and Davila The things that we should pull up with urgencies, that's why I stated it. I'd like to just do that.
Well, Counselor Brown, ending the meeting right now is on your terms. I'll put it as that. The only matter that had urgency was relative to the executive session, but Attorney Pakula has confirmed that we can handle that meeting together at another time this week, ideally. So it's really, if you object, the meeting will have to end and we'll have to make a motion to continue the rest of the items on the agenda. Would you like that done?
I would like to err toward the side of my colleagues as far as if there were certain things that they felt that we should really listen to. I would like to entertain those things. I don't have that information right in front of me based on my situation, but anything that any of my colleagues would want to entertain, I'd like to entertain those things and then call it a day.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, the only nod to that was Councilor Hurst's suggestion of finishing the CPC items. So if you can indulge that before we decide on that, Councilor Whitfield followed by, Councilor Whitfield.
I'm tired. We said 10 o'clock. I'm gonna side with Councilor Fenton and go to 10:30. After 10:30, CPA done or not, I would like to end the session.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Fenton, did you have a comment?
Nope, I'll go to 10:30.
Okay. All right, folks. So it seems, Councilor Brown, are you 10:30 cutoff?
Yes, that's why I love my colleagues. We all think alike. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. I apologize, Madam Clerk. I believe it is up to you to call the next item.
The next item is number 27, which is on approving the CPC recommendation to fund the magazine park phase 1.
Thank you.
So this is Magazine Park up by the McKnight neighborhood. It is an application that came from the McKnight Council with the support of the park department that owns it, the property, and it is for a multi-phased renovation of the Magazine Park. This year, we are recommending $210,000 for the engineering plans to go forward and to actually do the renovations of the baseball field and the children's playground that is in this park.
Thank you, Bob. Are there, Councilor Brown?
Yes, I want to thank you guys. This is something that we've been working on for a long time. One thing I want you to understand, and people to understand, that we don't look like Forest Park yet. I commend you for helping and donating the funds. I know Councilor Hurst, Councilor Whitfield, we've been fighting for the Dust Bowl, and Councilor Letterman that's been over there. So 210, and then when you scream out other money, I'm a ward counselor. One thing I do know about my colleague, Councilor Whitfield, she gets mad at me because she said, you represent all Springfield. But I know she loves magazines. She loves my area. So we need a little bit more money. I thank you for the project. It's great. I love it. So I commend you guys on this one. Next year or the year following, let's get more money in magazines. We need more. But I thank you guys. You guys did a great job. I commend the McKnight Council, Walter Crow, I know Elizabeth, a lot of people were, even Miss Letterman, everyone was working on this one. So I commend you guys on this one. But we need more. those figures, we could have got another 40. Why can't we say 250 at Magazine Park? 210? What could $40,000 do where I live at? We needed more there. So I would just hope when you consider it next time, don't forget that, because I do know my colleagues, Whitfield, Letterman, and Hearst, that we need more right there. So thank you though, and I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate this one, and I will be supporting.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any other questions or comments from the council at this time? All right.
I make a motion to approve this item.
Motion made by Councilor Whitfield, seconded by Councilor Davila. I feel like I'm in an auction line. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On the order to approve, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Gomez absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kern?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, please next.
The next item is an order approving the CPC recommendation to fund Marshall Royce Bray structure.
Yes, this is an application that came in from the East Springfield Neighborhood Council, and it will be carried out by the Park Department. It is to rebuild the deteriorated spray structure at Marshall Roy Field, and we are recommending $209,300.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton.
Motion to approve.
It's a motion to approve on the floor.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, please call the roll to move toward approval.
On a motion to approve, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez absent. Counselor Allen?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Kern?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Did Counselor Fenton want to speak?
Oh, no, he's doing that motion.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. And I believe we still need a vote to approve the order. So at this time, if I can have that in the form of a motion.
Motion to approve the order.
Second.
Made by Councilor Edwards, seconded by Councilor Fenton. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kern?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item.
Next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the drama studio restoration.
So the Drama Studio, nonprofit organization that deals with acting classes for young people, has long been the tenant of the All Saints Church on Oakland Street. They are now the owner of the historic church, which the city council made into a local historic district in the last year. And they are doing a variety of exterior renovations to bring the property up to standard. And we are recommending $175,000.
Thank you.
170,000. Sorry, I can't read my own screen.
Thank you, Bob. Are there any other questions from the council at this time? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Davila, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item.
The next order is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the Hubbard Park tennis courts.
So this is a proposal that came from the Indian Orchard Citizens Council to renovate the tennis courts at Hubbard Park and also the parking area. However, the committee is only recommending renovation of the tennis courts, and that's $164,979.
Thank you, Bob. Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank the members of the CPA committee and encourage my colleagues to support this proposal. I can't tell you how many calls I've received in regards to the tennis courts at Hubbard Park. And what makes this different than some of the other parks is that it's located on a main road, and you can see it from you can actually see the tennis courts from the main road, and it's an eyesore. So, I'm glad that we're finally addressing this, and I want to thank again those involved in supporting this project, and I encourage my colleagues to support it as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Are there any other questions or comments from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Edwards, seconded by Councilor Davila. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to approve?
On the motion to approve, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gomez, absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, please, the next item.
The next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the City of Springfield Downtown Payment Assistance.
So this proposal comes in from the Office of Housing, and it is to help in the continuation of their down payment assistance program that helps first-time home buyers purchase homes in the city of Springfield. We funded this in the first year of CPA, and it assisted about 40 homeowners because they give up to a maximum of $4,000 toward each home. And the Office of Housing has asked that we help again with $160,000, and we are indeed recommending that to you.
Thanks, Bob. Are there any other questions from the council at this time?
Just a quick question.
Councilor Davila?
Sorry, I couldn't get my hand. Bob, are we, is there any neighborhoods that are specific for this or just throughout the city?
It's throughout the city. The homeowners have to be meet the CPA eligibility requirement, which is they can't make more than 100% of metropolitan median income. So it's below 100%. This program has for many, many years been funded with money from HUD that limits it only to 80%. And so in the first year, when we funded it the first time, it was to help that income group between 80% and 100%. This year, the Office of Housing has a slightly different problem, which is that because of the hot real estate market, HUD sets every year sort of the maximum amount that your house can cost if you can assist them with the HUD money, and many homes are running over that cost. So they will this year the program will help anyone under 100%, so below 80 as well, with down payment costs for their first time house. But it's anywhere, and the map that Karen had put up sort of shows you where the first year funding went, and I was really surprised and very pleased that it was a very good distribution across the city of Springfield.
Good. All right, good. Thank you, Bob. Sounds like a good program.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions or comments?
I make a motion to accept this.
Second.
Okay.
All right, motion has been made. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll? Made by Councilor Woodfield, seconded by Councilor Davila. I'm sorry.
Thank you. On the motion, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Madam Clerk, the next item.
The next item is an order approving CPC recommendation to fund the East Springfield Library outdoor reading room.
Yes, so this proposal came in from the Springfield Library System with the support of the East Springfield Neighborhood Council. It is to improve the land around the library for a variety of outdoor activities, including sitting areas, performance areas, and garden areas. And we are recommending what they asked for, which is $85,500. Does come, though, with the restriction of whatever is the land that is assisted with CPA needs to be permanently protected as recreational land.
Thank you, Bob. Are there Councilor Fenton?
Thank you, Mr. President. We're really excited about this project and excited about improvements to this library in East Springfield. And thank you, Bob, for highlighting that point about the restriction. Myself and some members of the East Springfield Council actually had a meeting with the library director about this. And because I haven't seen final language, and I don't know if you have final language on this, Bob, regarding the restriction.
Yeah, we've never really crossed this bridge before, but suffice it to say, CPA does not pay for temporary recreational uses. Mm-hmm. And so, when this proposal came in, the area that we were being asked to fix was only, I'm going to call it the right-hand side yard of the library. And we said, well, if we help you with this, this is what's going to be restricted. But we also said, give us a little sketch of what you want. And when the sketch came in, it was not only the right-hand side, but it was the back and it was the left-hand side. And we said, fine, we're happy to help. But just remember, if we're helping, it gets restricted because we're not paying for something that in 5 years can become a parking lot or a building addition. So we're very flexible in terms of if the library thinks it may ever want a parking lot or an expansion of the building, we just need to put what we help on a specific portion that doesn't impact those.
Right, and thank you, Bob. And it's a perfectly reasonable position, Mr. President. We wouldn't want to be spending money, only have to have it undone or redone. But the reality is that the neighborhood and the library does have an interest in seeing an expansion of that library and parking in the future. And so I'm not comfortable that we have exact agreement on what this restriction would be to make the CPC and the neighborhood and the library happy. So we have some other ones that are going to committee, and I'm not sure we're even going to finish the rest of them tonight. So I would make a motion that we refer this one to committee in hopes that we can work with you, Bob, on getting a more precise plan of the exact improvements and hopefully working with the law department on getting some exact language, because something as broad as saying that, you know, areas where there are improvements when it's not exactly clear where they will be are going to be areas that are restricted from future expansion of the library or the parking lot is just it's a burden, given that there are hopes that that will happen in the not too distant future. So I would make a motion to committee, Mr. President.
Second.
All right, a motion has been made to send this to committee by Councilor Fenton and seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, on the motion to committee, please.
On the motion to send this item to committee, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yeah.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, the order is approved. Now, councilors, the time is.
No, sent to committee.
Sent to committee.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, thank you. Sent to committee for the record. The time is now 10:28, and we will have to do two things before we end today. For those items, CPC items that we approved, we'll have to suspend Rule 19 on those, but we also have to continue the remainder of the items as well, so that can definitely take us past 10:30. So just want to throw it out there. If it's the will of the body, we can move to those two actions and continue the rest.
Oh, that's what we decided.
All right. All right. So with that being said, at this time, can I please entertain a motion to suspend Rule 19 for, and Madam Clerk, please just hear me out on this. It's items 20, 22, 24, and 25 through 31. Does that sound?
Yes.
Okay. Can I please have a counselor make that in the form of a motion?
Before you go with that, did you say 25 through 41?
No, through 31.
31, okay, sorry, all right.
I make a motion to suspend Rule 19 on those items.
Right, a motion has been made by Counselor Whitfield.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on the suspension of Rule 19 for those items?
On suspension of Rule 19, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez, absent. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams?
Yes, those items have been, sorry, Rule 19 has been suspended on those items. Madam Clerk, now items 33 through 43, including executive session that we will need to continue. And I'm not sure if I'm going to refer to any of the prior presidents on this actually. Does executive session or Attorney Pakula, the executive session need to be inclusive of this motion, or can we just leave that alone?
I would like to see it included to the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Pakula. So for items, I need a counselor to make the motion for items 33 through 43 and executive session to be continued.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion by Counselor Davila, seconded by Counselor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on that.
On the motion to continue these items, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez, absent Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, items have been continued. Madam Clerk, is there any further business before the council at this time?
No, there is not.
All right, and before I let you all go, this was alluded to by, I believe, Counselor Davila, but one of our colleagues did recently have a marriage. So I do want to congratulate Counselor Brown on his nuptials. And I think I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues that we wish you peace, then fortune in your new. So just wanted to give
I have a question.
Congratulations.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Sorry. Can I ask a question?
Sorry, who can you please identify yourself?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Can you?
Congratulations also, Counselor and President, Counselors, thank you. I just wanted to know, I think I missed it because my agenda item is 40, or I think 41. When is this going to be continued until?
Yeah, sure. This will be continued to the next regular meeting.
So that will be next month or 2 weeks?
We will, well, I'll have the clerk, Madam Clerk, can you please reach out? I'm sorry, you're for item number 40?
Yeah, for 5153 Bay Street. Because I've been on since 7 o'clock and.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Is
what
that
actually
good?
we can do for that, what we can do actually is an ordinance. I don't mind, and I do appreciate your patience. We can include you in the next hearings meeting agenda. Madam Clerk, we can coordinate with you offline, but that's a little sooner than the regular meeting. Okay, if you wouldn't mind just putting your Madam Clerk.
If I may, Matt, if I may,
Councilor Brown, please.
Mr. President.
Councilor Brown, give me 1 second, please. Ma'am, I just want to make sure we have your information on the record. Do you know if the clerk has that information?
Yes, Lisa Goodman, co-chair and funds developer for Ackman Trinity House, 5153 Bay Street, historical renovation project.
Okay, perfect.
And yes.
We will certainly reach out to you for that schedule.
Okay, well, super.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night. Councilor Brown? Councilor Brown?
yes, if I may.
Yes.
To all my colleagues, I've never been to this area where I'm at, but I always will attend. I'll tell you guys about it later. But peace and blessings, and I love everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Brown, and congratulations again. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
good night.